Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Hey, y'all drop a 12,000 in the chat if I could be heard. You feel me? Drop a 12,000 in the chat. Y'all see the title? Does Messiah fulfill a bloody and burnt altar? Ooh wee! Y'all hit that share button, that like button, that subscribe button, all that good stuff in between. You feel me? And let's cook. Shout out to my brother Sila Shalom in the building. Shout out to the gang, man. Shout out to my sister Keela Olam Kazdo in the building. Shout out to the gang. Sila, excellent presentation the other day, bro. Man. I was listening to it and fell asleep, boy. I was so tired. But excellent presentation, brother. You did your thing on that one. I'm gonna do a slowdown probably tomorrow. And just sit on back and go through it. But excellent presentation, boy. The Ethiopian Bible, a product of Rome. If y'all haven't seen it yet, y'all get on over to Sila Shalom TV and tap on in, man. Hey, y'all share this and all the the chats and all that. You feel me? And again, we back on these, these offerings. The conversations I've been having lately been about all the offerings. The sacrifice, and Jesus was the sacrifice, and the sin offering and the burnt offering. And it's really going back through that, examining that, and it's like, man, look, man, it's a lot of blood in the water. You feel me? It's a lot of blood in the water. Y'all go ahead and put me in the algorithm. Y'all already know. Hit that like button, subscribe button. Shout out to my brother Bishop XFG Keezy, all Daisy, baby. Ooh wee. Let's get into some of this real quick. Matter of fact, y'all go ahead and hit that like button and all that good stuff. Let me go ahead and play a little more of this. And then we cooking. Y'all know we don't come to Mighty Cuddle, tiptoe through no tulips, play around with you. Right to it. Would you kill your child, your son, if your God told you to?
You said if the Most High told me to?
Yeah.
Or man, the Most High said do it, then that's what it is. Yeah, man, the Most High said do it, then that's what it is.
A 22-year-old woman told hotel workers in Holmes County that she had been directed by God, to go on a shooting spree about the solar eclipse, and that not long after she left the hotel in a purple Dodge Challenger driving to the interstate, traveling west, shooting into two cars. One of the drivers was shot in the neck, the other grazed in his arm.
If your God came to you right now, tonight, in pomp and glory, shining, and he commanded the death of your child, would you sacrifice your child?
If the Most High is going to do it, of course.
Peter Lucas Moses refers to himself as a radical religious person who is with the Black Hebrews. And he just pleaded guilty to killing a four-year-old and a woman that he was living with. He killed the 4-year-old because he thought he was gay.
action. Moses believed 4-year-old Higginbotham was homosexual. Klein says Moses took Higginbotham to the garage, played the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew, and shot him. Played the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew and shot him. Played the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew and shot him.
If God came to you and told you to sacrifice your kid, would you sacrifice your kid?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
God is called the terrible, like demon-like power. God is called the terrible, like demon-like power. God is called the terrible, like demon-like power. So Napa means empty, you could say, or like open. Shita means demon, or demon-like or terrible. Shita means demon, or demon-like or terrible. Shita means demon, or demon-like or terrible.
According to the criminal complaint, Polite told investigators God told him to shoot Pastor Germany. God told him to shoot Pastor Germany.
God told him to shoot Pastor Germany.
And he wanted to go to jail to clear his mind.
Would you kill your child or your grandchild if God told you to?
Oh, man.
So that's a yes?
Yeah, well, it's a yes. It's a yes.
It's a yes.
But I think that it would be a test. I don't think the Lord would actually tell you to do it. I think it would just be a test because we can see.
You'd be willing to go through with it.
But I'll go through any trial the Lord puts me through.
Yahweh ben Yahweh, the self-proclaimed Son of God, one day in 1981, her North Dade home became a house of death. Banks and her husband, Carlton Carey, had just returned from talking with police about another Yahweh member who had been decapitated. Today, Yahweh ben Yahweh is charged in her attempted murder and the death of her husband. October 1986, Yahweh's takeover in an Opalaka apartment building. 2 residents who ordered to leave publicly complained. That night, both were shot to death.
Wow! Judah, do you hear me? If the Most High Yahweh tells you to kill your family, would you do it? Yes or no?
Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes.
Oh, Judah, no.
Judah didn't mean that, y'all.
If the Most High say, put your family down, would you do it for the Most High?
By faith, yes. By faith, yes.
By faith, yes.
But he's going to tell me not to do it, just like he did Abraham. We have a story like that already. Next.
The moral law is that if a child was to be rebellious, okay, towards their parents, they was to be taken out and be stoned to death because of that. You see what I'm saying?
Would you do that? Would you do that if your God came back to you today in glory and said, I want you to stone your son if he get rebellious? Would you? Would you do it?
Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I would.
Wow.
The Most High was to come to you and ask you to off your loved ones. Would you do it, brother?
If I had made the mistake, if I didn't have ancestors inside of me and I made the mistake to make babies with outside nations, and then I heard the download from my ancestors saying that you need to put them away, yes, I will put them away. Yes, I will put them away.
Yes, I will put them away.
Okay, Judah Nazareth, if the Most High come to you and say, I want you to put down your family, I have a better movement for you that I need you to do, would you do it?
They're out of here.
Of Leviticus, Chapter 1. The Burnt Offering. The Lord called to Moses and spoke to him from the tent of meeting. He said, Speak to the Israelites and say to them, When anyone among you brings an offering to the Lord, bring as your offering an animal from either the herd or the flock. If the offering is a burnt offering from the herd, You are to offer a male without defect. You must present it at the entrance to the tent of meeting, so that it will be acceptable to the Lord. You are to lay your hand on the head of the burnt offering, and it will be accepted on your behalf to make atonement for you. You are to slaughter the young bull before the Lord, and then Aaron's sons, the priest, shall bring the blood and splash it against the sides of the altar at the entrance to the tent of meeting. You are to skin the burnt offering and cut it into pieces. The sons of Aaron the priest are to put fire on the altar and arrange wood on the fire. Then Aaron's sons, the priest, shall arrange the pieces, including the head and the fat, on the wood that is burning on the altar. You are to wash the internal organs and the.
Do y'all hear what dude's saying? The chopped off heads, the cut off legs, the burnt fat, all that's in there. So this is more of a visual of what's really going on with that. You know what I mean? Man, that's, hey, look, very bloody. Very, very, very bloody. You feel me? I'm gonna back it up just a little bit. But these are your burnt offerings. Then, you know, you got to go deal with your sin offerings and your trespass offerings. These are all your little offerings for sins and all that. And man, it get real bloody. You know what I mean? It be a lot of smoke. You know what I mean? I'm gonna back it up a little bit. Look what he said happens. These are the rituals that the victim, the sacrificial offering, the victim, whether you're talking about Jesus or you talking about a bullock or a female lamb, or this is the ritual that has to go down. You see? So does Messiah fulfill a bloody and burnt altar? When I say Messiah, I'm talking about Yahshua, you know, the world called Jesus, Yahushua, whatever. We ain't even arguing about names. But the character that we know of in the Holy Bible, does he fulfill a bloody and burnt altar? Yes or no? Because everybody, especially around this time of year, he's the sacrifice. He's the sacrifice. I'm like, well, look, that look more of like a murder to me. If you want to be honest with it, murdered by you're drinking black-hearted bastards. How come we can't just leave it at that? We're all this blood and chopping off heads and I'm talking about, and they playing in the blood too, man. It get bloody. It's like it's a whole ritual got to go down for an atonement, for a sin, let alone the scapegoat ritual for the Day of Atonement, man. Good night. Let's rewind this just a little bit. Look at this. Yeah, it get real. You talking about the sacrifices? Well, look how bloody these sacrifices get. Look at it.
Put fire on the altar and arrange wood on the fire. Then Aaron's sons, the priest, shall arrange the pieces, including the head.
Including the head. Including the head. All right, so the deity in some cases looks at this as a sweet-smelling aroma or a savor. A damn chopped off head. Now, this is a burnt offering for those that saying Jesus was supposed to be a burnt offering, like Isaac was supposedly was going to be offered up as a burnt offering. That means Abraham would have had to cut Isaac's head off. Would have had to gut little Isaac, cut his organs out, chop his legs off, wash his organs and his legs with water, cut the fat off the organs, play in Isaac's blood, throw it to draw blood border, and roast Isaac's skinned, dismembered corpse as a sweet-smelling savor to prove the devotion to the deity. So whether you're talking about a person or an animal, the ritual is the same. See, so if you're saying that Jesus is a burnt offering or a sin offering, was his head cut off? No. Was his legs cut off? No. Was his organs cut out of his chest? No. No. No, you're looking at a pure case of murder. You dig? And as you keep watching, you're gonna see, if you stick around, you're gonna see the Almighty never ordained any of this anyway. So that means that this whole system is something that's added later on, under the auspices that the quote unquote Lord said this to Moses. Because after all, you don't got Moses' Torah anyway, right? Oh, yeah, including the head. We're not gonna mighty cuddle. We're not gonna play with you. We're not gonna no. That says the head. That's what it says. These are your burnt offerings. These are your burnt offerings. So if you run around twisting your mouth, and saying that, oh, you know, Jesus fulfilled, he is the sin offering, he is the sacrifice. And it's like, well, if we go back and start reading this stuff, for one, the Almighty never ordained it. Two, how could his son die for something his father never gave? Look at this. Look at this right here. Look at this.
And the fat on the wood that is burning on the altar. You are to wash the internal organs and the legs with water. And the priest is to burn.
Don't forget, these legs and these organs are cut off and out. You straight and dissected this little joker. Man, look, man. Look, man. It don't take a rocket science to figure out, genius. This ain't got nothing to do with the Almighty. There's something else going on here. Something else is going on here, and none of y'all got the testicular fortitude to call it for what it is. You've been compromised. You're on a sinking ship, Ak. And in this late hour, you got Millie Mouth Negroes arguing about if white folk can be saved or not. Like, what the hell are we even talking about, man? All that doctrine you're talking is irrelevant if the deity is false. Some of y'all can't wait for the third temple to be built or rebuilt so you can go ahead and kick back off these rituals. Lusting for blood. Look at it.
On all of it on the altar. It is a burnt offering, a food offering, an aroma pleasing to the Lord.
Let's say that smell good to the Lord. Dead flesh, blood, chopped off organs, and fat smell good. Ooh-wee. I ain't right. There's no reason to get mad at me. I ain't right.
If the offering is a burnt offering from the flock, from either the sheep or the goats, you are to offer a male without defect. You are to slaughter it at the north side of the altar before the Lord, and Aaron's sons,
Okay, so now you got to be a male. If it's a burnt offering, male, without fault or blemish. And then it's to give you the geological location or geographical location on where you got to kill it. Where does it say the north side of the north side of it? Look. These specifics that come with this. You are to slaughter it, kill it at the north side of the altar. Jesus was not killed at the north side of the altar of burnt offering. Now remember, Jesus is supposed to be the sacrifice. He's supposed to fulfill, complete, all of this. All of this. And as we keep examining from how the burnt offering is slain, the how you got to play with his blood, what you got to do with his organs and his lower extremities, huh? What you got to do with the fat, and even where it's slaughtered at. Jesus ain't do none of that. None of that happened to Jesus. We
Side of the altar before the Lord, and Aaron's sons, the priests, shall splash its blood against the sides of the altar.
See, they playing in blood. They playing with blood. Splash his blood. That ain't happened to Jesus' blood. Jesus got poked out and bled out. Nobody could, like, you ain't nobody collect his blood and smear themselves with it. And even if that's the case, yeah, what they got to do with you 2,000 years later, you can't physically take the blood of a man that was murdered 2,000 years ago and physically cover yourself or wipe yourself with it or put it on any altar. So it got to be some type of, belief. Got to be. Right? Let's see if this, if Jesus fulfills any of this. Look.
You are to cut it into pieces.
Or was Jesus cut into pieces? Was he dismembered? No, he wasn't. He wasn't. Watch this.
The priest shall arrange them, including the head and the fat.
There go the head again. So Jesus' head, chopped off head, was supposed to have been on the altar of burnt offering in Jerusalem. His organs were supposed to have been cut out, meaning his chest cavity would have had to been cut open. In order to get the fat off the organs, you got to cut the organs out, then cut the fat off. This is what Abraham would have had to do to Isaac. This is what Jephthah actually did to his daughter in Judges 11:29 on down. He offered her up as a burnt offering. Huh? And this is what the victim, an innocent animal or an innocent a victim had to go through, because it was continual burnt offerings going on. The altar of burnt offering stayed moving, stayed burning. But if it's a burnt offering, then it's offered a certain way. It ain't just like you just poke them with your little Jim Bowie and, you know what I mean, throw them on the grill as like you do a hot dog. No, it's a whole classification. It's a whole rite and ceremony that come with a burnt offering. All right, and that's what you're looking at now. Right? If y'all understand that so far, y'all go ahead and drop a 4,000 in the chat. 4,000 in the chat. You feel me? Easy work, man. Easy work. Watch this. Watch this.
On the wood that is burning on the altar, you are to wash the internal organs and the legs with water, and the priest is to bring all of them and burn them on the altar.
Dang.
It is a burnt offering, a food offering, an aroma pleasing to the Lord. If the offering to the Lord is a burnt offering of birds, you are to offer a dove or a young pigeon. The priest shall bring it to the altar, wring off the head,
Do what?
and burn.
Wring off the head. Twist the head off the pigeon. Poor little pigeon. That deal say wring off the head. A lot of blood, man. A lot of blood, y'all. Imagine this going on all day, every day for thousands of years. Millenniums. Huh? Thousands of years. You talking about hell from the wilderness all the way up into, man, I mean, some brief pauses in between there, Assyrian captivity, Babylonian captivity, and all that. But man, look, that altar of burnt offering basically was running unabated for millenniums. for at least a millennium and a half. Can you imagine how much blood? And then imagine all the feast days like Passover and Tabernacle and the Day of Atonement. Good night. Good night. What is we even talking about here, man? And look, trip off this. When you get into Ezekiel, the 40th chapters, it's after the Gog and Magog war, Ezekiel 38 and 39. After Israel stands up as an exceeding great army in Ezekiel 37. After the prince is named, which is David, back in Ezekiel 34, you get into restored Israel in Ezekiel chapter 40 through 48. And y'all, all this continues. The temple is rebuilt. You got the sons of Zadok on that deal. And they back doing the same exact madness. And they offering, and they offering up these offerings. You dig? To the Lord. Now some people say the prince is Jesus. Others say the prince is David. The text say David. But the Christians say Jesus is the Jehovah of the New Testament. So that means Jesus is going to be receiving burnt offerings and sacrifices. Hold on, but I thought his death did away with the burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin. One time and for all. So you mean to tell me he was sacrificed? All of that stopped only for him to return and start it up again? Then what was he murdered for then? Yeah, I know somebody mad. Somebody gonna be mad. Be all right though.
Burn it on the altar. Its blood shall be drained out on the side of the altar.
Dang.
He is to remove the crop and the feathers and throw them down east of the altar, where the ashes are. He shall tear it open by the wings, not dividing it completely, and then the priest shall burn it on the wood that is burning on the altar. It is a burnt offering, a food offering, an aroma pleasing to the Lord.
Man, that sounds crazy. That sounds crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you. Dang.
When anyone brings a grain offering to the Lord,
Hold on.
The peace offerings, if his offering is a sacrifice of peace.
We go right here. Dang.
Leviticus chapter 4. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, If anyone sins unintentionally in any of the things which the Lord has commanded not to be done, and does any of them, if the anointed priest sins so as to bring guilt on the people, let him offer for his sin, which he has sinned, a young bull without defect to the Lord for a sin offering. He shall bring the bull to the door of the tent of meeting before the Lord, and he shall lay his hand on the head of the bull and kill the bull before the Lord. The anointed priest shall take some of the blood of the bull and bring it to the tent of meeting.
Dang.
The priest shall dip his finger in the blood and sprinkle some of the blood 7 times before the Lord, before the veil of the sanctuary. The priest shall put some of the blood on the horns of the altar of sweet incense before the Lord, which is in the tent of meeting, and he shall pour out the rest of the blood of the bull at the base of the altar of burnt offering, which is at the door of the tent of meeting. He shall take all the fat of the bull of the sin offering from it, the fat that covers the innards, and all the fat that is on the innards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, which is by the loins, and the cover on the liver with the kidneys he shall remove. as it is removed from the bull of the sacrifice of peace offerings. The priest shall burn them on the altar.
Y'all see that? Now this is supposed, if Jesus is the sin offering, and this is for the priest to make an atonement for himself. You dig? Then Jesus will have to fulfill this. Either from a priest angle, because he's called the priest and the actual offering that's being offered. He playing both roles. He playing the priest. You dig? According to biblical breakdowns and narratives. He's the high priest after the order of Melchizedek, right? And he's the sacrifice. So it's like he's offering himself. Right? But look what happened. Then you could have an argument and say he is the sacrifice. But he don't fulfill it in no way. He ain't killed where the offering's supposed to be killed at. His blood ain't played with ritualistically like the blood of the victim. His head ain't cut off. His organs ain't cut out. The fat off his organs ain't cut out. I mean, his legs ain't cut off. And in some cases, some of these offerings are female. He ain't a woman. You dig? So how are we saying that he died for your sins and he's the offering for sin? You dig? When he don't fulfill none of what the sin offerings are. How about they murdered this man? How about that?
Altar of burnt offering. He shall carry the bull's skin, all its meat, with its head and with its leg.
Carry the bull's skin. So this was supposed to have been Jesus' skin. Remember, because you got to skin the victim. Fillet it. You got to skin it. Cut the skin off of it. So that was supposed to be Jesus' skin. Jesus' head, chopped off head. And his legs and lower extremities thrown in the basket. You see over here how they got this little corpse hanging from off this altar over here? That's what it was supposed to happen to Jesus. If we saying he fulfills or completes this. Look at this, man. See, we want to put the visuals out because it hit harder when the visuals are there. It's different than just reading it, but when the visuals, you're like, dang, that's what they was doing. They got to carry his head. What the hell was going on?
Its innards and its dung.
And
all the rest of the bull outside
and its dung. You got to carry the sin offerings, Bobo. Come on, man. Was Yahushua or Messiah or Jesus, was Jesus Bobo played with? Burned outside of the camp? No. So that they ain't just playing with blood, they playing with dung. Shit bricks. Man, look, bro. Just stop. Just stop. Everybody in listening range knows something is wrong with this. And imagine doing this. I'm talking about year in, year out, day in, day out, y'all, for over a millennium. Come on, man. You got to play with his blood, carry his shit. Chopped off head, basket of flesh and lower extremities. And it's Bobo. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Camp to a clean place where the ashes are poured out, and burn it on wood with fire. It shall be burnt where the ashes are poured out.
Right. So now you got burnt boo-boo blood and a dismembered corpse. You gonna tell me that smell good? Huh? You put the fire on some dung, boy. Huh? Hey man, I'm just saying, like, you gotta be real with yourself. You know what I mean? Malaki Macabee ain't write the Bible. I ain't write none of these books. You dig? But I mean, we gonna go run around and say that, okay, well, that's what it is, man. That's that he the sacrifice. He died for my sins. He's the sacrifice. He's the offering. They tell you that in the book of Hebrews. Sin offerings and burnt offerings for sin. Huh? Well, if he's the sacrifice, if he's the burnt offering, if he fulfill the burnt offering and the trespass offering and the sin offering, then we should see it. We should see his so-called murder or sacrifice mimic that. He fulfilled the law. What you talk about this law right here? You talk about this law right here? You got to be careful. That's what I'm saying. You just out there flapping your gums. Talking about he fulfilled something that he never did. He fulfilled something that was never ordained or even given by his father. Never. Never. And that's hard for people to swallow, man. Look, you've been compromised. Deity danger, warning. You've been compromised. These priests out here playing with Bobo, dung. Jesus dung wasn't played with either. Come on, man, we got to stop playing, is all I'm saying. Jesus was never chopped in pieces and set on fire. No. That blood wasn't poured out at the bottom of any altar. No. Let's keep watching. Interesting.
If the whole congregation of Israel sins, and the thing is hidden from the eyes of the assembly, and they have done any of the things which the Lord has commanded not to be done, and are guilty. When the sin in which they have sinned is known, then the assembly shall offer a young bull for a sin offering, and bring it before the tent of meeting. The elders of the congregation shall lay their hands on the head of the bull before the Lord, and the bull shall be killed before the Lord.
Island.
The anointed priest shall bring some of the blood of the bull to the tent of meeting. The priest shall dip his finger in the blood and sprinkle it 7 times before the Lord, before the veil. He shall put some of the blood on the horns of the altar which is before the Lord, that is in the tent of meeting, and the rest of the blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar of burnt offering, which is at the door of the tent of meeting. All its fat he shall take from it and burn it on the altar. He shall do this with the bull, as he did with the bull of the sin offering, so he shall do with this. And the priest shall make atonement for them, and they shall be forgiven.
Wow.
He shall carry the bull outside the camp and burn it as he burned the first bull. It is a sin offering for the assembly. When a ruler sins and unwittingly does any one of the things which the Lord his God has commanded not to be done, and is guilty, if his sin in which he has sinned is made known to him, he shall bring as his offering a goat, a male without defect. He shall lay his hand on the head of the goat and kill it in the place where they kill the burnt offering before the Lord. It is a sin offering. The priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering with his finger and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering. He shall pour out the rest of its blood at the base of the altar of burnt offering.
Man, y'all know good and well if somebody was living next door to you doing this. You looked out your window and saw him in his backyard removing heads off animals, cutting out organs, playing in blood and playing in dung. Come on, y'all. You already know what you're going to call it. You already know what you're going to call it. You feel me? So what I'm saying is, how is the action so-called, quote-unquote, holy or set apart? How? How? There's nothing even righteous about what you read or even looking at. How is this holy? How is this set apart? What did the poor little animal do to thou? Nothing. He just existed and been pulling oxygen through his bull nostrils. Was made to live and enjoy creation like you was. Under the constant threat of a roasting, a dismemberment, a jugular vein cut. Look, it's gonna have to come to a point within your walk where you're gonna have to be real with yourself and stop playing. There ain't nothing holy about none of this you reading about. This the priesthood, the Levitical priesthood, and really it's the Canaanite priesthood if you want to be real with it. Let alone you in Canaan, they got a holy of holies too. You calling on Canaan gods, El, Baal, Yahweh. You writing in Canaanite script, what you call the Paleo Hebrew. Yeah. It's a lot going on that you just over here playing with your thumbs, not asking no questions. Now, just let the blood flow. Look at this.
Offering. All its fat he shall burn on the altar, like the fat of the sacrifice of peace offering, and the priest shall make atonement for him concerning his sin, and he will be forgiven.
Forgiveness of
If
sin.
any one of the common people sins unwittingly in doing any of the things which the Lord has commanded not to be done, and is guilty, if his sin in which he has sinned is made known to him, then he shall bring for his offering a goat, a female without defect, for his sin which he has sinned.
A female? So there's a female goat for the sin offering for the common man. The commoner. But it's a female. You sure Jesus was not a female?
Shall lay his hand on the head of the sin offering and kill the sin offering in the place of the burnt offering. The priest
Jesus wasn't killed at the place where you killed the burnt offering at.
shall take some of the blood with his finger and put it on the horns of the altar.
Jesus' blood wasn't taken and putting on the horns of the altar of burnt offering. It wasn't.
Of burnt offering, and the rest of its blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar.
His blood wasn't collected in a base or a bowl and then poured at the bottom of the altar of burnt offering. No.
Altar. All its fat he shall take away, like the fat is taken away from the sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall burn it on the altar for a pleasant aroma to the Lord.
All of Jesus' fat was supposed to be cut off his organs, meaning his chest was supposed to be cut open, organs cut out. And then the fat cut off the organs was supposed to have been thrown on the altar. The barbecue grill for a pleasant aroma to the Lord.
The Lord. And the priest shall make atonement for him, and he will be forgiven. If he brings a lamb as his offering for a sin offering, he shall bring a female without defect.
There it is again.
He shall lay his hand on the head of the sin offering and kill it for a sin offering in the place where they kill the burnt offering.
And notice that the Romans killed Jesus. The Romans, it was, you know, the nobility and the Roman back and Edomite control Sanhedrin and Pharisees and Sadducees and all that. But, you know what I mean? Of course, they was conspiring. But the people who physically put the offering, who you call them the sacrifice Jesus to death, were the Romans. But notice with the sin offering and the burnt offering, even the trespass offering, you got to put your own work in. You got to kill it. You got to kill the offering. Not your occupiers, not your enemies. So you ain't even did that. So how is he dying for your sins? You know what I mean? And you're not even doing what the sin offering and the burnt offering requires. Look what you got to do. This is what you got to do. To the sacrifice, who a lot of Christians say is Jesus. Watch.
Female without defect. He shall lay his hand on the head of the sin offering.
Who shall? The one that's bringing the offering. So Jesus is the actual offering for sin in this situation. And he's dying for your sins. You the one that got to put your hand on Jesus' head. Meaning you the one that got to kill him. And then the priest collect his blood and do the whole little ritual. Not the Romans. You got to do it.
And kill it for a sin offering in the place where they kill the burnt offering. The priest shall take some of the blood of the...
And now the priest, whoever the priest were supposed to take Jesus' blood. After you brought Jesus as an offering, now the priest supposed to take his blood.
Sin offering with his finger and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering. All the rest of its blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar. He shall remove all its fat, like the fat of the lamb is removed from the
None of this happened to Jesus, y'all. None of it.
Sacrifice of peace offerings. The priest shall burn them on the altar, on the offerings of the Lord made by fire. The priest shall make atonement for him concerning his sin which he has sinned, and he will be forgiven.
And he will be forgiven. Forgiveness of sins. Forgiveness of sins through bloodshed. Oh, wait. Yeah, man. It get real tricky around these parts, man. It get real tricky, cuz dang. So let's go read about the scapegoat, though. Y'all heard about the scapegoat before, right? Let's go read about the scapegoat. Scapegoat is the Day of Atonement. The Day of Atonement ritual. Let's go read about the scapegoat. It's in Leviticus. Pull it up real quick. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. It get real tricky right there, man. You got to make sure you staying focused. Make sure you staying focused out here. You feel me? Go to Leviticus 16. We're going to read about the scapegoat ritual. The scapegoat ritual. Man, crazy. Shout out to my brother Young Prince Cosmon in the building. It's the word I keep. Love and light to everybody. All praises to the ever-present, the every word creator. Like my little bro said the other day. There always was, is, and never shall be. The mighty and great spirit, the mighty and great I am, first and foremost. Big. Make sure y'all go like, subscribe, and share, man. Creator Gang is still cooking out in this deal. And here to make some things happen. Let's look at this. Look at this right here and turn this down. Let's get into this law of atonement. Now, what's supposed to go on the Day of Atonement? But we just read about a whole bunch of forgiveness of sins and and all type of stuff through bloodshed, through chopped off heads, lower extremities removed, blood rituals. You know what I mean? Like that's what we just was reading about. To be honest with thou, that's what we were just reading about, right? So we in Leviticus, Wa'ikra. For those who are, you know, caught up in the Ibrit. All right. Now look at this. Woof. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and start up at 1. Law of Atonement. Leviticus 16:1. And trip off. And look, trip off what's about to happen. Trip off what's about to happen, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Law of Atonement. And the Lord spake unto Moses after the death of the 2 sons of Aharon, when they offered before the Lord and died. Yeah, so they wasn't offering properly, right? So the Lord, the deity, killed them, smoked his sons. They wasn't offering exactly how the offering says it's supposed to go. You dig? And that's what I'm saying. You be saying that Jesus fulfills the law, and then we start digging into these laws of these blood sacrifices and these laws of burnt offerings and sin offerings and trespass offerings and the ritual that has to be done. In some cases, you gotta go burn his bobo, his dung. Some place you gotta carry out all his the skin off his back, carry it out into the outside the camp, the chopped off head, the legs, burn it. Some instances you gotta pour his blood at the bottom of the altar, throw blood on each corners of the altar. It's a lot of killing, blood smearing, and bobo wiping going on, man. It really is. It really is. You know what I mean? So let's get into this law of atonement. But notice when we was watching the videos over the burnt offerings and the sin offerings, right? Notice at every turn it kept saying, and he shall be forgiven. Forgiveness of sins. But notice it's through bloodshed. Something got to die, and a ritual has to be performed. There has to be a dismembered corpse. The organs have to be removed, cut out. You got to do some blood splashing, blood pouring. You got to cut out livers and all type. Man, there's a lot going on, man. You got to don't forget. You got to skin. You got to flay the offering. So if you're saying that this is Jesus, then you're saying this happened to Jesus. And yes, biblically speaking, he was savagely beat for sure, but the ritual didn't happen to him. It didn't happen to him. So that means he didn't fulfill that. Oh, wait. Look at this. And the Lord spake unto Moses after the death of the 2 sons of Aharon, when they offered before the Lord and died. And the Lord, or Yahuwah, said unto Moses, speak unto Aaron thy brother, that he come not at all times into the holy place, which is the sanctuary, within the veil before the mercy seat. So don't come into the holy of holies. You know, you got you inside the temple. So you got your courtyard outside where you got your altar of burnt offering. That's where the killing go down at. That's where the blood is at. That's where the pools of water. You know what I mean? That's where the smoke going up at. That's outside the actual building, which you'll call the church today. Outside in the parking lot, nigga, this is where all the bloodshed going on, the head chopping, the blood sprinkling. That's where that's going on. But inside church or inside the building, you got the main sanctuary, right? And then you got a veil in the back of the sanctuary. And behind the veil, you got the Ark of the Covenant, or the Holy of, and that's the Holy of Holies. All right, that's the sanctuary. That's the holiest spot supposedly on earth. You know what I mean? According to the biblical narrative. So the Lord is telling Moses, tell Aaron, don't come at all times before this Ark of the Covenant. You know what I mean? You can't just be popping up and trying to shoot the breeze. You know what I mean? That he come not at all times into the holy place within the veil before the mercy seat. The mercy seat is the crown that's on top of the Ark of the Covenant, which is upon the ark. That he die not, for I will appear in the cloud upon the mercy seat. So the Lord is supposed to be appearing to Aaron at certain times in a cloud above the Ark of the Covenant. That's behind the, the veil that's inside the Holy of Holies. That's what that means. So he said, don't come at all times. So, and if you do come at any time, you won't. You're going to die. But come at an appointed time. Look at this. Thus shall Aaron come into the holy place with a young bullock for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering. But when you do come before the mercy seat, behind the veil, in the Holy of Holies, make sure you come with a young bullock for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering. The deity wants his blood. You violate, some got to die. Look at this. We can't act like we don't know it's a blood covenant. Either covenant you talking about is a blood covenant. Blood. Verse 4. He shall put on the holy linen coat, and he shall have the linen breeches upon his flesh. And shall be girded with a linen girdle, and with the linen mitre shall he be attired. These are holy garments. Therefore shall he wash his flesh in water, and so put them on. So Aaron got to come, not only with the blood of a bullock and a ram, Aaron got to come dressed a certain way. He got to come dressed a certain way. Look at this. It is. And he shall take of the congregation of the children of Israel 2 kids of the goats for a sin offering, and 1 ram for a burnt offering. And Aaron shall offer his bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself, and make an atonement for himself and for his house. We just watched the video about what a sin offering is. What has to happen? A lot of blood splashing. A lot of head cutting. But this right here is to make an atonement for Aaron and his house. The deity want blood. Well, verse 7. And he shall take the 2 goats and present them before the Lord at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. That's right there. That's the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. That's right there at the entrance to the courtyard where the altar, with this bloody and burnt altar is at. That's where you bringing your offering to. You bring your offering to the door of where the door to the courtyard where they doing all this killing at. That's where they go through that door right there. That's where they doing the killing at. That's where you bringing your offering to. Look at this. And Aaron shall cast lots upon the 2 goats. 1 lot for the Lord, and the other lot for the who? The scapegoat. Hold on. Let's go ahead and put the Strongs on it. Let's get the concordance number by it. That way we can understand what's going on here. All right, so in this ritual, right, there's 2 goats. Let's read it again. And Aaron shall cast lots upon the 2 goats. 1 lot for the Lord, and the other lot for the who? The scapegoat. And Aaron shall bring the goat upon which the Lord's lot fell, and offer him for a sin offering. The deity wants blood. The lot that fell on one of those goats that was for the Lord's, hey, go get the Lord his. That's a sin offering. You got to chop his head, remove his organs, get the splash in his blood, pour his blood out, cut the fat off. Hey, the Lord won't his. So sorry, innocent goats. But what's up with the scapegoat though? But the goat on which the lot failed to be the scapegoat shall be presented alive before Yahuwah to make an atonement. Hold on. So the Lord Yahuwah want his sin offering skin chopped up and roasted, right? But then the scapegoat is presented alive before Yahweh too. right, to make an atonement with him and to let him go for a scapegoat into the wilderness. What is this scapegoat? What is this scapegoat? What is this scapegoat? Good night. Listen to this.
Strong's H5799. Azazel. Azazel.
Azazel. Well, if you're into the book of Enoch, you know that's the chief demon. One of the chief demons that brought warfare and all types of, technology to mankind that would eventually destroy itself. Azazel is a demon in the book of Enoch, a fallen angel. You mean to tell me in the scapegoat ritual in which an atonement is to be had, there's a ritual that involves a damn demon? Hold on. Look at this. It says right here. It's an entire removal. Scapegoat refers to the goat used for sacrifice for the sins of the people, meaning dubious. Azazel, goat of departure, the scapegoat. Good night. Look at this right here. Y'all think it's a game? Think it's a game? What does it say right there? What does it say right there? A fallen angel. A fallen angel, as in Jewish angelology. Azazel is a fallen angel, a demon. You mean to tell me Azazel is in the scapegoat ritual? In the Day of Atonement. In the ritual of the Day of Atonement, equal entire removal of sin and guilt from sacred places and to the desert on the back of a goat. Symbol, Azazel is symbol of entire forgiveness. Azazel is a fallen angel. You read the book of Enoch, you won't get past the first couple pages without running right into buddy. Look what it says right here. Most proper name of spirit hunting desert. It's a fallen angel. You mean to tell me in the in the Day of Atonement ritual, there's a ritual that involves Azazel, the fallen angel in the book of Enoch. Wow. And he's alive. And there's entire forgiveness of sins. Man, that's crazy. If you knew that Azazel is in the Day of Atonement ritual, if you get some understanding, should I say, and knew that Azazel, the damn fallen angel in the book of Enoch, is in the Day of Atonement ritual as the scapegoat that lives and is a symbol of entire forgiveness. If you just got that understanding, y'all go ahead and drop a 10,000 in the chat. Let's word. Yep, book of Enoch, chapter 6. Man, it's a lot going on, man. It's a lot going on. So again, when you talk about total forgiveness and forgiveness of sins and wiping away debts, and you still over here like Jesus died for your sins. A lot of our people really don't know what the hell they're saying. They just talking, right? He can't fulfill any of that because that ain't how he died and was sacrificed according to you. Chopped up, head chopped off, skin peeled off his back. You know, yeah, they whooped his flesh, but he wasn't his skin. They didn't skin his corpse. You see, Azazel is the scapegoat in the Day of Atonement ritual. Azazel, the fallen angel, as in Jewish angelology, and Azazel is kept alive, and he symbolizes entire forgiveness. Bro say he's also spoken about in the Jubilees. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. So it's a lot going on, you dig? And that's why it's important to understand that the Almighty never ordained any of it anyway. It was never ordained. You dig? These are things that are added later and written in, backdated. It's called, look up what backdating is. You just write something down in a modern time. For example, it's like me writing something down today in 2025, but I write it down as if it happened during the 1960s, during the civil rights era. It wasn't written down to 2025 by Malaki Macabee, but I'm writing it down as if it's happening in the 1960s. But I'm here in 2025. It's called backdating. And that's all that happened. You know what I mean? That's all that happened. A lot of backdating. Look at this again. And Aaron shall cast lots upon the two goats, one for the Lord, one for Yahweh, and the other lot for the scapegoat. And Aaron shall bring the goat upon which the Lord's lot fell, Yahweh's lot fell, and offer him for a sin offering. We know what that is now, right? But the goat on which the lot fell to be the scapegoat shall be presented alive before Yahweh. So he want one killed and he want one alive. To make an atonement with him and let him go for a scapegoat into the wilderness. And the scapegoat is but scapegoat, Christians, scapegoat is Jesus. No, the scapegoat is Azazel. Be careful. See what I'm saying? That's why we went there and showed that, because that's a teaching too. You dig? On Day of Atonement. You know what I mean? Well, there's a goat that's killed and there's a goat that's let free, go off into the wilderness. And they both are for the Lord. The death and to be found alive in the wilderness. Scapegoat. Scapegoat is Jesus too. No, the scapegoat is Azazel. We just read it. Man. Hey, man. But the goat on the which the lot fell to be the scapegoat shall be presented alive before the Lord to make an atonement with him and let him go for a scapegoat into the wilderness. And Aaron shall bring the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself, and shall make an atonement for himself and for his house, and shall kill the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself. Aaron is the high priest. Jesus wasn't killed by the high priest. He was killed by the Romans. And he shall take a censer full of burning coals of fire from off the altar before the Lord, and his hands full of sweet incense beaten small, and bring it within the veil. See? And shall put the incense upon the fire before the Lord, that the cloud of the incense may cover the mercy seat that is upon the testimony that he died not. And he shall take of the blood of the bullock and sprinkle it, splash it with his finger upon the mercy seat eastward, and before the mercy seat shall he sprinkle of the blood with his finger 7 times. By the killing, man. So if you're saying Jesus fulfills the law and he's the sacrifice, meaning he fulfilled the sacrificial law, and then we get to reading through this and he ain't fulfilling none of that, you dig? Then what you saying, or Jesus is the scapegoat, what you saying is that he's fulfilling something that was never ordained in the first place. Let's jump over to Ezekiel. Let's go to Ezekiel real quick. I think it's Ezekiel 18. You dig? Matter of fact, before we go there, let's go to Deuteronomy. I think it is. Watch this. Watch this. You gotta be careful. See what has happened is it's been a god, a deity invented. A whole god has been invented, made up, and there's a whole inspiration behind it. You dig? But only those that critically think about what you call your salvation or whatever. Only those that critically think can see it. If you on automan mode, robot mode, you ain't gonna be able to see none of this. None of it. All right, look at this Deuteronomy 24:16. The fathers shall not be put to death for the children. Neither shall the children be put to death for the fathers. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. Now you got other scriptures that go into how he was wounded for our transgressions. You know, other scriptures that would allude to someone dying because you were transgressing. You did. But even if that's the case, this right here still ain't going nowhere. That don't, you read something opposite of this don't explain this away. It's still in there. And it's plain. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. That's what it says. Right? If y'all can read that free and clear, can please drop a 9,000 in the chat. Let your brother know that I ain't making none of this up. Please. Drop a 9,000 in the chat. You know what I mean? They be treating me, avoid me like the plague. Like I'm making any of this stuff up. It says what it says. It says what it says, right? That's easy money. That's easy money. That's not even hard. You feel me? Right? Meaning accountability, y'all. Every tub got to sit on its own bottom. Every tub got to sit on its own bottom. You know what I mean? If you spilled it, you got to clean it up. Why something got to die because you messed up or you fell short? Now you got to pick yourself up and correct the matter. Stop doing what you're doing and correct the matter. That's what you got to do. Nothing should have to die because you fell short of the mark. And something dying don't do nothing but add to more condemnation. It increases sin. You killing an animal or a man ain't doing nothing but making you more thorough of a killer. Yeah, them priests know exactly how good them blades work. They're your ancient butchers. But as we see, every man should be put to death for his own sin. Right? You can't be putting nobody else to death for something, you know what I mean, that they didn't do. Right? And we see that right there in Deuteronomy. Let's jump over to Ezekiel. You know what I mean? We can go into how you get, you know, in good standing with your maker, the Almighty. Nothing has to die, though. You don't go sin to get rid of more sin. How does that work? Right there. That's a good one, too. I might go ahead and start on up. You see what it say up here? It's a God deals justly with individuals. I'm starting verse 4. Nah, I'm starting verse 1. You're too close to the top, player. Too close to the top, player. Look at this right here. The word of the Lord, the word of Yahuwah came unto me again, saying, what mean ye that ye use this proverb concerning the land of Israel, saying the fathers have eaten sour grapes, and the children's teeth are set on edge. So in essence, the children are suffering for the crimes of their fathers. And he said, what mean ye that you use this proverb? And what make you think your father ain't got to sit on his own bottom or stand on his own? Like, what makes you think that? Right? Verse 3, look what it say. It say, as I live, saith Yahuwah, God, you shall not have occasion anymore to use this proverb in Israel. Look at that. You see that? He's like, nah, you're not about to put the crimes of what somebody else did on somebody else. You are responsible for what you do. You are responsible for your own shortcomings and, you know what I mean, mistakes and mishaps. or even things you do and continue to do that you know is wrong. You're responsible for that. You see? You got a lot of that, man, especially in this 2026 this Christian era, boy. These Christians went as far as saying that Jesus is his father. He's the Jesus is the God of the Old Testament. I say, man, these cats really go, they really going there. Huh? Jesus is the deity today. Jesus is the God. He's talking about more than even his father. You've been past the deity of God. It wouldn't be the first time, though. Serapis. Serapis is an invented God. Serapis is an invented God. An amalgamation of Osiris and Apis the bull, Escapulus out of Greece, the healing god or deity. Yeah, like so it wouldn't be the first time a council of men created a god and came up with a priesthood. Shout out to the real Yahshua though, the real Joshua for real. You understand? Salute, a very great man. You dig? But it's our job to separate, to show the distinction between the Almighty Creator and His creation. You dig? The real Yahshua is a big brother of ours who told you that you're going to be doing greater works than him. You're not supposed to be worshiping him, praying to him. You know what I mean? He is not supposed to be your God. It's simply a brother or a son of light. And, you know, if you get inspired, follow his example. But don't be gullible with it, though. You dig? A lot of blood talk, a lot of sacrifice talk, and I come to find a lot of people don't know what the hell they talking about. You ain't even read nothing about none of this. You feel me? So look what he said in verse 4. He said right in verse 4, he said, behold, all souls are mine. Not some. All souls are mine. As the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. Jesus, you go talking about Jesus died for your sins. In which I understand why you're saying that, because it's, you know, of course, it's written and alluded to in the New Testament and all that. You dig? But in this hour, you call to critically think about what you're saying. What are you really saying? What are you really saying? Right? And when we go back through the offerings, and look, none of it is being fulfilled, even down to you, the one that's supposed to be bringing Jesus to the priest, to the tabernacle, to be slain. You the one that's supposed to kill him. You ain't doing none of that, man. You know what I mean? Look at this. Verse 5, but if a man be just and do that which is lawful and right. See all you got to do? Do good, man. Stop being a misfit all your damn life. Just look, be solid for once. So nobody have to coach you on how to be real. Just be solid for once in your life, man. But if a man be just and do that which is lawful and right, and have not eaten upon the mountains, neither have lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, neither have defiled his neighbor's wife, neither have come near to a menstruous woman, and have not oppressed any, but have restored the debtor his pledge, so you pay back what you borrowed, right? Have spoiled none by violence, have given his bread to the hungry, and have covered the naked with a garment. He that have not given forth upon usury. Not given forth upon usury, neither have taken any increase, that have withdrawn his hand from iniquity, have executed true judgment between man and man, have walked in my statutes, and have kept my judgments to deal truly. He is just, he shall surely live, saith Mic check 1 2 1 2. Hey man, y'all spin a vortex if I could be heard up in the chat. Man, they trying to keep a real one down, huh? Y'all spin a vortex, spin some vortices in the chat if I could be heard, man. CGG is in the building, Credit Gang, still cooking. Y'all see the title, Does Messiah Fulfill a Bloody and Burnt Altar? You know what I mean? As we go through and deconstruct and free our people from a lot of the, you know what I mean, jargon and bondage that has had us spiritually, man, you know what I mean, behind for a very, very long time. Very, very, very long time. You feel me? Okay, we good. Good. Yeah, you can't keep a real one down, man. What they thought, huh? Real. Hermit. We'll grab me some water real quick, family. Yeah, we right back cooking. Pull this screen back up. Got me messed up. All right, yeah, let's get back to this, man. Go ahead and start cooking, y'all. Apologies for the technical difficulty. You know how it go. You know how it go. Ezekiel 18:18, that's for his father, because he cruelly oppressed, spoiled his brother by violence, and did that which is not good among his people. Lo, even he shall die in his iniquity. Yet say ye, why? Doeth not the son bear the iniquity of the father? So why the son don't bear the iniquity? Why the son ain't got to carry that sin? Why? Look what it says. When the son have done that which is lawful and right, and have kept all my statutes and have done them, he shall surely live. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father. Neither shall the Father bear the iniquity of the Son. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him. But if the wicked will turn from all his sins that he have committed and keep all my statutes and do that which is lawful and right, he shall surely live. He shall not die. See, so why blood got to spill? All you got to do is stop doing whatever it is that's wrong. So you can quit digging your own grave. You see, there ain't no bloodshed required. If you're doing evil or being wicked, just stop doing it and correct your ways. And you can live. You see that? So where the priesthood come in slaying animals at? Well, they come in. All you gotta do is just stop doing what's evil. And you can live. Look what it says, verse 22. All his transgressions that he have committed, they shall not be mentioned unto him. And his righteousness that he have done, he shall live. Have I any pleasure at all that the wicked should die, save the Lord God, and not that he should return from his ways and live? No bloodshed required, man. You see? No bloodshed required. And we know what's real. What's even more real? Look, let's go over here to the Nazarene Gospels real quick. What you think is a game? What you think we playing? We've been in Bible this whole time, right? Because I know a lot of, Negroes be offended. We don't just swim in Bible. We swim all over this deal. But I know a lot of Negroes get offended when we start going into our bag and bringing out higher lights than what the usual is used to. You feel me? But look, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. Watch this. So we just read in Ezekiel that all you got to do is stop doing evil, right? And turn from doing evil in order to live. Nothing has to die. And we just learned that the next man can't die for you, whether it's your daddy or your son. You see that? Nothing has to die because you fall short or miss the mark or do something intentional that you ain't got no business doing. No, you got to correct that. Oh, this damn killing, man. Like, bro, look, it's a lot of blood. Even with you so-called Jesus-free Christians, there's a lot of blood talk. The blood of Jesus and the sacrifice and the blood up to the horse's bridle. It's just so much damn blood. How the hell do you correct sin with sin? How? Man, that's crazy, man. Look, so even in the Nazarene Gospels and in the Nazarene Acts, the same sentiment is uttered. All you got to do is stop doing evil. All these blood offerings. And as you start going through them rituals, you start seeing like, nah, this ain't got nothing to do with nothing, Jack. What is that? What is that? Huh? Let's show this entire screen over these waves. All right, here we go, babe. Show y'all something. Shout out to the fam in the building. Cosmine Cow TV, man. Y'all go like, subscribe, share. Y'all tap in with my brother, man. Big. So I got a plethora of information. Nah, it's gonna challenge your position, your standing, where you at with it. Gospel of the Holy 12, aka the Gospel of the Nazarenes, Nazarites and the Saints. Yeah, I know. Malaki, we just tired of just you always like all these. That was you get started in all these different books. And I just been in the Bible the whole time. Even the video I played was out the Bible. Let me go right in here and show. Went to Deuteronomy 24:16, right? Then went to Ezekiel 18. Because these are the talking points. Jesus died for your sins. He's the sacrifice. He's the sacrifice. He's the sin offering. He's the burn. He's all the offerings. He fulfilled them. Really? Okay. Okay. Well, good at that one. All right, so look. Let me see if I can zoom in on this deal. Oh, no, I can't zoom in. I'm tripping, bro. You gotta let the kids zoom in. Make sure y'all can see it. That's goofy. Okay, I'm gonna do it like this. Hopefully y'all can see that. All right, so this is lection or chapter 33 out of the Gospel of the Holy 12. And look at the title. By the shedding of blood of others, there's no remission of sins. Wow. Wow, 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 boy. Look at it. It says, Jesus was teaching his disciples in the outer court of the temple, and one of them said unto him, Master, it is said by the priest that without shedding of blood there is no remission. Can then the blood offering of the law take away sin? Excellent question. What's the title of the class today? Does Messiah fulfill a bloody and burnt altar? And according to the very text that most hold dearly, nah. Trick no good. So the question comes out, can the blood offering of the law take away sin? And look how Messiah answered, Yeshua. Look how he answered. And Yeshua answered, no blood offering. No blood offering. No blood offering of beast or bird or man can take away sin. For how can the conscience be purged from sin by the shedding of innocent blood? Nay, no, it will increase the condemnation. It will increase the condemnation. Y'all see that? Stacking sin don't take away from it. It add more to it. If you understand that, drop a 3,000 in the chat for the Art Cycle Cosmon, man. We cooking. We swim all over. You know, you over in this shallow end of the pool with your floaties on. Talking about you're deep in the cage. Look, we swim over in the Bible too, man. It's just everywhere else we swim, y'all don't. And that ain't our fault. That ain't our fault. No blood offering of beast or bird or who? Man. Or man. Dang, son. Dang, son. No blood offering of beast or bird or man can take away sin. For how can the conscience be purged from sin by the shedding of innocent blood? That's a question, genius. Nay, it will increase the condemnation. Verse 3. The priest indeed receives such offering as a reconciliation of the worshipers for the trespasses against the law of Moses. But for sins against the law of God, there can be no remission. Meaning you can't get rid of them, save or except by what, y'all? Repentance and amendment. Turning away from what you're doing and correcting your ways. That's the only way your sins get remitted. It's not by bloodshed. It's not by the blood of Jesus. It's not by the blood of a bullock. More killing only adds to the condemnation. And even if you don't want to receive this, well, Ezekiel just said the same thing. If you do that which is right and good, you can live. And there ain't no bloodshed there. You see? Yeah. You've been up under the lust of a blood deity this whole time. A lot of us have. You're itching to spill blood. You're itching for Russia to launch its nuclear missiles out of its silos. You're itching for blood to flow to the horse's bridle. Something wrong here. Meanwhile, I thought it said in Proverbs, keep thee far from a furious man. Because him got the power to kill. Man, look, man, y'all better leave me alone. Huh? The only way your crimes against your maker can be forgiven or remitted is by you turning away from the evil you're doing and correcting your ways. See that? No blood shed involved. Man. Verse 4, is it not written in the prophets, put your blood sacrifices to your burnt offerings and away with them and cease from the eating of flesh? For I spake not to your fathers, nor commanded them when I brought them out of Egypt concerning these things. For I spake not to your fathers, nor commanded them when I brought them out of Egypt concerning these things. What things? The burnt offerings and blood sacrifices. Huh? What are you doing? It tell you right there in Jeremiah 7:22 that the Almighty never even gave this. But this thing I commanded, saying, obey my voice and walk in the ways that I have commanded you, and you shall be my people. So blood sacrificing and burnt offerings must not be the ways in which he commanded. He just said he didn't even command it, but do what I commanded. What is that? Obey my voice. Do good. Stop killing. And you shall be my people. And it shall be well with you, but they hearken not, nor incline their ear. And what doeth the eternal command you but to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your maker? Is it not written that in the beginning the Almighty ordained the fruits of the trees and the seeds and the herbs to be food for all flesh? But they have made the house of prayer a den of thieves. And for the pure oblation with incense, they have polluted my altars with blood. They have polluted my altars with blood and eaten of the flesh of the slain. Good night, boy. Good night, boy. Good night, boy. They say the altars are polluted with blood. And they offering bullocks and lambs and goats and turtle doves. Nigga ringing, nigga turning the head on the turtle dove to his head pop off. They have polluted my altars with blood and eaten of the flesh of the slain. But I say unto you, shed no innocent blood, nor eat ye flesh. Shed no innocent blood, nor eat ye flesh. Walk uprightly, love mercy, and do justly, and your days shall be long in the land. It's the same thing Ezekiel just said. No way. No way. Ooh-wee. Somebody gonna be mad. You know what? There's another one in here too that go hard. Watch this. Let me go over to what you call it. I think it's chapter 51. I think Young Prince know what I'm talking about. Let me see. I think it's chapter 51. Whew. Going in on them cats. Right here. I was saying, so this chapter 51. This chapter 51, Gospel of the Nazarenes, right? Chapter 51. I'm going to start at verse 12. Watch this. Watch this. People are offended. Offended about the blood offerings and the, you know, the ceasing of consuming animal flesh. People are offended, boy. Offended. Cal, what the hell you talking about? Boy, what did you say, Cal? So a pint of O negative can get rid of. Boy, hey, you sure right, boy. Boy, the blood types. Yeah. You never asked what type of blood we talking about here. Dang, that's a good point. What type of blood? Is it AB negative? O negative? Oh man, so a pint of O negative can get rid of sin. Well, I'll be a monkey. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle, boy. You crazy, boy. Yeah. We on the deity. That's right, Sister Tabitha Keon. We on the neck of the deities. That's it. You know what I mean? In the end, all those who fancy themselves as our enemies gonna be over this way anyway. Like, it ain't really no, you know what I mean? We just exposing the deities. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? We call that over here in Credit Gang God tripping. Yeah. Y'all, you know, some people be out here, you know, tripping off their relationships or tripping off their little blocks and sets and get the credit. We God tripping. Yeah. In other words, we going right at the deities. Hard body too. Ain't playing no games. Look at this right, chapter 51 and 12. It says, and certain of the elders and scribes from the temple came unto him, saying, why do your disciples teach men that it is unlawful to eat the flesh of beasts, though they be offered in sacrifice as by Moses ordained? See, so the elders in them didn't like the fact that, you know, hey, Messiah and everybody rolled with him was plant-based. Went over here eating steak and eggs. For it is written, God said to Noah, the fear and dread of you shall be upon every beast of the field, and every bird of the air, and every fish of the sea. Into your hand they are delivered. And Messiah said unto them, you hypocrites. These hypocrites, man. They ain't say nothing about chewing on animals. It just means you got dominion. And Yeshua said unto them, ye hypocrites, well did Isaiah speak to you and your forefathers, saying, this people draw near unto me with their mouths and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. For in vain do they worship me, teaching and believing and teaching for divine doctrines, the commandments of men in my name, but to satisfy their own lusts. And that's crazy, because we go into Isaiah, the first chapter. See that? That's in Isaiah, the first chapter. And he going to ask them again, who told you to be in my courts with all this blood? Nigga, like, I don't like the flesh of lambs and goats and the smell of fat. And do away with it. Who told you to be in front of me with all this? You see? So it ain't like what Credit Gang ain't saying ain't in the Bible. Like, we can go in, we can swim right over there in the Bible and show you, look, this is what we saying right here. It just so happened that a wasp be out here, boy, you know what I mean, taking heads. This is the boogeyman of the conscious community. They scared of a wasp. Everybody is. I mean, Sheila did a presentation the other night on Thanksgiving. He did a presentation on Sarnetta, and he purposely didn't even bring up old wasp. He was bringing up the Ethiopian Bible, and these Negroes still got on there and decided to bring up the I'm like, look, bro, you don't forget your rear end get it handed to you, boy. You don't forget her ass whooping. You don't. You don't. And that's what's happening there. You dig? But we can go right in the Bible and show you what we're talking about. You dig? We can go right over, we can come right over into the shallow end of the pool where you got your floaties on it and say, look, calm down. Put your feet down and stand up. You're not about to drown. You see? The only problem we got is when you fight back and kick against it. You be like, bro, look, you acting like you about to drown with your floaties on and you in the shallow, boy. All you got to do is just stand up and breathe. Look at this. Also Jeremiah bear witness when he said concerning blood offerings and sacrifices. Our Lord God commanded none of these things in the day that ye came out of Egypt. But only this I commanded you to do: righteousness, walk in the ancient paths, do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. See, so the sacrifices and all that wasn't commanded, but being a real one is. The blood offerings and the chopped off goat heads and the skin back of a victim, you understand, ain't required, but being solid is. Been right in your face the whole time. Huh? And you got all these Negroes running around here still arguing if Cornelius was an Israelite or not. I'm like, bro, y'all done missed the bus. Y'all done missed the bus with this whole Israelite thing, bro. Look, you're on a sinking ship. And you know I know, can't none of y'all rock with me. None of you. So look, as your bro, I'm letting you know you on a sinking ship over there playing around. Huh? You right in the clutches of Louis left shoe. Slick Willie himself, and don't even know it. And think just because you saying Lord or Yahweh, you justified, or Yahushua, you justified, boy. Look, you've been sold a bill of goods. But look, a bill of bad, should I say. Now, lost your mind. You see? That's all he telling you to do. Be a real one. Stop with all this killing. Look what it say. But ye did not hearken to me, who in the beginning gave you all manner of seed and fruit of the trees, and seed having been for the food and the healing of man and beast. You supposed to be plant-based around this deal, man. Negro don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? It's like you can't tell the Negro nothing no more, man. He done figured it out. Meanwhile, dying left and right. He didn't figure it out. But meanwhile, just as confused as ever. And they said you speak against the Torah, bro. The Thawa-Ra. That was Negro trying to tell you. Oh, you speaking against the Ha-Thawa-Ra. Malaki. I say, nigga, look, man. Hey, look, stop all the jaw jacking with me. That don't work. I don't care nothing about you rolling your R's and choking on your cats and speaking your fast Hebrew or none of that. Because all I gotta do is slow you down. And when I do, we gonna find out, you dig, who lacking and who not. Then Negro tried to, you speaking against the Ta-Tha-Wa-Ra, the law, the Torah. And look how Messiah answered. He said, against Moses, indeed, I do not speak, nor against the Torah, but against them who corrupted his law. Who corrupted Moses' law? Now we dealing with scribes. Jeremiah told you that too. The lion pen of the scribes. Messiah, like, I don't speak against the law or Moses. I speak against those who corrupted his writings, which he permitted for the hardness of your hearts. But behold, the greater than Moses is here. And they were wrath and took up stones to cast down. See? The Messiah passed through their midst and was hidden from their violence. Dang, son. Dang, son. Dang, y'all get some understanding and you're rocking with your little brother, man. Y'all drop a 2,000 in the chat. Much love. You know what I mean? CGG. Let's get back to this, man. Let's get back to this. There's a lot of milly mouthing going on. A lot of people mad. You would think, it's a sign of relief. Like, oh, good. I ain't got to kill these thousands of bullocks this year. Good. I ain't got to be over here talking about some drink the blood of Jesus no more. Good. You see what I'm saying? It's a lot, man, that the deities did. You know what I mean? And that's why I thank the Almighty, because he gave some light and understanding to some brothers and sisters. You understand? Who can give less than a half of a damn of what you think. Ain't gonna tell you right to your face. You understand? Hey, it's time to come on home. Your deity's been exposed. Huh? I know. Let's go to Isaiah. Yeshayahu. Malaki. Man. Oh, yeah, shout out to Yashu, man. Yashu was stand up. Stand up, you dig? He even increased the moral law, to be honest with you. He was telling them, like, look, stop vowing, stop swearing. You know what I mean? If you're looking at a woman and lusting after, you already committed adultery. Like he even raised the bar even more. You know what I mean? Yeah, shout out to Big Bro, man. Like, look, we ain't got no problem. We only got a problem with the deity they created. And got niggas out here worshiping Jesus today. You know what I mean? Niggas around here talking about some, they done found his foreskin and his baby garments and put them in water, it's healing water. And like, look, go on somewhere with all that, man. Niggas, it's crazy. All right, now watch this. Watch this. Let's go to Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah. All right. So where we go? So we went to Deuteronomy 24:16. No man can die for the sins of another. We went through all of Leviticus chapter 1 and all of Leviticus 4, dealing with the burnt offerings and the sin offerings. That was the video we watched. And we did a visual on it. Seen exactly what had to happen. Come out of that, we go, because the talking points are today, Jesus is the sacrifice and he died for our sins. We go to Deuteronomy 24:16. No man can die for your sins. We go to Ezekiel 18. Not only can no man die for your sins, if you want to get in good graces or good standing with your maker, all you gotta do is stop doing evil, and correct your ways, and you can live. With no bloodshed necessary. Then we just went to the gospel of the Nazarenes, which people is scared of, chapter 33 and chapter 51, and just showed you that no blood offering of a man, a beast, can ever take away sins. It did. And going into how it was never commanded to sacrifice by the Almighty. You was just commanded to keep it real, keep it solid, keep it 1,000. Right? And now we jump over to Isaiah. You know what I mean? The son of who? Amos. Amos, the prophet in the Bible. Isaiah's father was Amos. Isaiah's father was Amos. You know what I mean? Yeah, you gotta get into that wasp. You get to that wasp, you'll see that he actually restored what Moses was talking about. Yep. Like what you got in the Bible is something that came way later. That ain't even Moses' Torah. That ain't even Moses' Torah. It ain't even Ezra's Torah. It's the Greek Septuagint, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? I know what it said right here. It said the vision of Isaiah, the son of Amos, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Yahudah. Yeah, so Isaiah was prophesying for a minute. As long as Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah were kings. Isaiah was prophesying. Huh? Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for Yahuwah have spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. So you see that? See that? Huh? Rebellion, huh? They have rebelled against me. Dang. The ox knows his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know, my people do not consider. What doesn't Israel know during the days of Isaiah? I mean, surely they know the Hebrew language. Surely they hear the Torah every Sabbath in the synagogues. Surely they getting circumcised on the 8th day. And I mean, surely they doing everything that's written down. So what are they doing that they not supposed to be doing? Huh? That the Almighty is saying they rebelling against me. What are they doing? What are they doing that has the Almighty calling them a seed of evildoers? Sinful nation, a people laden, covered with iniquity. A seed of who? Evildoers. Children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Almighty. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backward. Dang. Well, Israel, what you done did? What Israel done did? Let's jump on down. Let's see. And the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage in a vineyard, as a lodge in a garden of cucumbers, as a besieged city. Except Yahuwah of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant. We should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah. Good night. You talking about the nation of Israel is likened unto Sodom and Gomorrah? Huh? He's saying, unless, the Lord had spared a little taste, we would have been incinerated. So what was you doing? That calls for this right here. Look at this. What was you doing that was not commanded? Look, hear the word of the Lord, ye rulers of Sodom. Give ear unto the law of our God, ye people of Gomorrah. Hold on. We talking about Israel, right? And now the Almighty is saying through the mouth of Isaiah, he's calling his people Israel, Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah. Look at this, verse 11. To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me? Why are you bringing me these sacrifices? Why are you doing so much killing? To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me? Saith the Most High. I am full of the burnt offerings of rams and the fat of fed beasts. And I delight not in the blood of bullocks or of lambs or of he-goats. Hold on. Well, we was in Leviticus earlier where he do delight in it. It's a sweet smelling aroma. So either the deity is bipolar or these are different gods we're talking about here. I'm going to say it again. Either the deity is bipolar. He like the smell of blood, dead flesh, and boo-boo, or he don't. Either the deity is bipolar. Or those are two different deities talking under the auspice of the all capital Lord. Why do you say that, Malachi? Because the message is different. One says he loves the smell of dead flesh, blood, dead skin, fat off organs, and dung. The other one who we reading about right here say, I delight not in the blood of bullocks or of lambs or of he-goats. I am full of burnt offerings of rams and the fat of fed beasts. So right here, we can go to Isaiah and show that the message is different from Leviticus. A sweet-smelling savor, a sweet-smelling aroma to the Lord. He delights in it. It smells good. But over here, he don't delight in it. You see? So we can lay them both side by side and show and say, well, look, either the deity or the God is bipolar, or these are two different deities. If y'all understand that. If the message is different, it's only this thing can only swing two ways. Either the deity is bipolar, or these are different deities talking. If y'all understand that, drop a 1,000 in the chat. See, we slow it down. Because we ain't scared to find out if we doing wrong or not. Slow you down. Yeah, they only can swing two ways. If both are under the auspices of the all capital Lord and the message is different, either the Lord is bipolar, or these are different deities talking with the same name. Dang. So the one we reading about right here don't like the blood of bullocks or lambs or goats. He don't like the burnt offerings. He don't like the fat off the organs. Look, verse 12. When you come to appear before me, who have required this at your hand to tread my courts? He asking, who told you to, who done required this? Because I didn't. I don't like the smell of blood and flesh and fat off organs. So he's asking the question, who have required this at your hand? Who have required this at your hand? A requirement is a commandment. It's required. You got to do it. So the Lord is asking through the prophet Isaiah, who told y'all to come up in my courts with all this flesh and all this blood and all this fat? Who have required this at your hand to tread my courts? Now, if the Lord is the one that required it and commanded it, why is he asking through Isaiah, who told you to do this? Who told you to do this? What you're dealing with backdated documents, right? Yeah, the Bible is not written in the order in which the books appear in them. Yeah, you got a lot of things that were falsified and added much later. As if it's, it goes all the way back. It's called backdating. Backdating, that's all it is. But if he the one that gave the requirement and the commandment to bring the blood of bullocks, lambs, and he-goats, to bring the flesh of bullocks and the fat off the organs, if he the one that required it and commanded it, why is he asking you who told you to do it? Yeah. I know. It's taken out. Look at this. Verse 13. Bring no more vain oblations. Incense is an abomination unto me. Good night. The new moons and Sabbaths, plural. The calling of assemblies. I cannot away with. It is iniquity. Even the solemn assembly. Good night, boy. And that's everything the Israelites pride themselves on doing today, man. You hear about the new moon feast, and the niggas arguing over the Sabbath and what assemblies and camp you with, and man, he's like, look, this is all iniquity because you're doing things that I've never commanded, which means someone else's ways. I just told you keep it real, keep it solid, love one another, do good and get good and live. What's all these rituals and rites and ceremony? Where all this come from? Look what he say, 14. Your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hateth. They are trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them. So now you got the Almighty saying through Isaiah that the feast days that everybody be in a whole shamble about, the feast days everybody be all bent out of shape over, he's saying in her he hate them. Your new moons and your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hateth. They are a trouble unto me. I am weary to burn them. Look at this, verse 15. Then when you spread forth your hands, I will hide mine eyes from you. Yea, when you make many prayers, I will not hear. Why not? Your hands are full of blood. What blood? What blood? Go back up to verse 11. I delight not in the blood of bullocks or of lambs or of he-goats. What are you doing that got the Almighty, quote unquote, the Almighty infuriated or allowed you to dig your own grave? What were you doing? Because he just said, when you pray, I'm not even about to acknowledge none of that. Why? Because your hands are full of blood. Whose blood? The blood of bullocks, lambs, he-goats. The fat of fed beasts. Look, verse 15. And when you spread forth your hands, I will hide mine eyes from you. Yea, when you make many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood. We ain't got to do no guesswork about what kind of blood we talking about. A couple verses up, he tell you, I don't like that blood. Look what he tell you to do. Since your hands are full of blood and you praying, but he ain't answering. He say, wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings. What evil? What are you doing? To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me, saith the Lord? I am full of burnt offerings of rams. So in essence, when you're saying Jesus is the sacrifice and all that, you're saying he came and died or fulfilled a sacrificial law that his father never gave. If he gave, why is he asking them, who told you to tread my courts? When you pray, I'm going to hide my eyes from you. Your hands are full of blood. What blood? The blood of bullocks, lambs, and he-goats. I just told you, look, your feast days is full of blood. I hate them. Your new moons, I hate it. Sabbaths, hate it. Why? Bloodshed. Bloodshed. That's somebody else's ways. That's not the Almighty's. Wash you, make you clean. Put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes. Cease to do evil. What evil are we talking about? What evil are we talking about? The spilling blood, the sacrificing, the sin offerings, the burnt offerings. That the Old Testament prophets was already telling you that ain't got nothing to do with getting rid of no type of sins for thou. We even read earlier that the Day of Atonement ritual got Azazel, the fallen angel, in the book of Enoch. And the scapegoat is Azazel, and it represents everlasting forgiveness. Man, look, bro. So he said, wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes, cease to do evil. Learn to do well. Seek judgment. Relieve the oppressed. Judge the fatherless. Plead for the widow. Come now, let us reason together, saith the Almighty. So he tell you, just stand up, be real, man. Seek judgment. Relieve the oppressed. You know what I mean? Look out for those who don't got fathers. Look out for the women that don't got husbands. Plead for the widow. Be a stand-up individual. What make you think you're supposed to be shedding all this blood? Cease to do evil, right? Verse 18. Verse 18. Come now, let us reason together, saith the Almighty. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Let it be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. If you be willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. What is the good of the land? Is what you grow. Yeah, the good of the land is not loin meat. The good of the land is what you grow, your crops, feed your family. You see that? Oh, wait. Let's go over to Amos. Let's go to Isaiah's father. Same mission. Same exact mission, man. And we bring these scriptures out to the brothers and sisters. They be ready to have a hissy fit. Well, we just read Isaiah. This is Amos' son. Now let's go to the father, Amos. Trader never gave it. That's wild. Dang. And there's more too, man. Like you get into like the third temple dealing with the Ezekiels and all that, man. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. All right, so let's do the Amos 5. It's always a good one right here. I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. Same thing his son Isaiah was saying. Though you offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts. Why not? If these things are commanded in Leviticus, why not? If these things are given in Leviticus to cover sins, why not? No matter what they're doing, they should be able to come sacrifice and get back in good standing. Right? So what is it? What is it that's so hateful? You got a sacrificial system in place, right? That covers sins. So no matter what happens, no matter what happens, there's a sacrifice to go down. So the person can get back in good standing. So why is not if who you call the Lord or God or Yahweh gave the feast days, gave the solemn assemblies, and gave the burnt offerings and meat offerings and peace offerings and the fat off beast, and it's a good smelling savor. Why is he not regarding them? Especially if it's some sins that go on, and it's like, okay, you got sin offerings and burnt offerings and trespass offerings. Why you ain't regarding them? What's so hateful about what he ordained? Because notice he's calling them your feast days, your solemn assemblies. So you offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings. I will not accept them. Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts. But all in Leviticus, that's what he wants. Right? And there's rituals there so you can make an atonement for the priests and for the people if they sin. So again, this is showing that the Creator of the Almighty never gave the sacrifices. Because why is he not regarding them? Why is he not delighting in the blood of lambs, bullocks, and he-goats? Why? You say in Leviticus it's a sweet smelling savor. So why over here he don't delight in them? So in Leviticus he commanded them. So why is he asking who required them? And why is he not regarding them? Take thou away from me the noise of your songs, for I will not hear the melody of your viols. So all the music and everything you on at the feast days and all that, he like, I ain't hearing none of that. But let judgment run down as waters and righteousness as a mighty stream. 25. Have you offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness 40 years, O house of Israel? That's a question. But you have borne or carried the tabernacle of your Molech and Sheun, your images, the star of your God, which you have made to yourselves. So We ain't even got to guess about which gods all these sacrifices in Leviticus are going to. He just named some Canaanite gods. Molech, Chion. You know you got to throw Baal in there. El, Ashtaroth. Huh? That's a question he asked in 25, and the answer is no in 26. Let's get a different version of it so y'all see we ain't lying. Watch this. Watch this. Surgical with it. We do what we like. Look, somebody better tell these young boys that we those days. Let's read in a different version. Sometimes we start short circuiting when we read something in old Victorian English. Right here. Was it to me you were bringing sacrifices and offerings during the 40 years in the wilderness, Israel? 26. No. No. Leviticus supposed to went down in the wilderness when you got all your rights for Aaron, your sacrifices for the animals, and your guilt offerings, and your sin offerings, and your trespass offerings, and your grain offerings. That's what the wilderness is where you supposed to got all this. Right? 40 years. You supposed to been doing all that 40 years in the wilderness. But he asking, was it to me you were bringing sacrifices and offerings during the 40 years in the wilderness, Israel? And the answer is no. Well, if you wasn't bringing them to the Almighty, who were you bringing them to? Because you definitely was doing it. Who was you bringing them to? Huh? The whole pantheon of Canaan, man. The Canaanite gods. The Canaanite gods. No, you served your pagan gods. Sakuth, your king god, and Kaiwan, your store god. The images you made for yourselves. So the entire 40 years, Amos is saying the sacrificing that was going on was to pagan Canaanite gods, not to the Almighty. And son Isaiah double back and say the same thing, like, hey, look, you know what I mean? Hey, look, that's off. They're hated. They're despised. We ought not to be doing them. You see? And it's a lot going on, man. It's a lot going on. You feel me? It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. Let's go to this right here real quick, man. Here we go right here. I need to do a full screen though. No, you got to do the entire screen, son. And we got to go to the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles. We touched on it a little bit last time. You dig? And it's just showing you, man, all the sacrificing and all that. Credit ain't never down with the bloodshed. Nothing has to die for you to be in good standing. All right. And it's, I mean, again, it's 2025, about to be 2026, and you still got people talking about the blood of Jesus. And Jesus is the sacrifice, or you know what I mean? Without the blood, there can't be no forgiveness and no sin. It's like, bro, look, y'all is really like going over and beyond with this. All right. So look at this right here. I'll do the entire screen. My bad. Easy money. Easy money though. Easy money. Hopefully we can get on and do the whole we go into like the third temple, dealing with the reinstitution of the Zadok priesthood and all that, and how they right back to cutting heads. Yeah, that's in Ezekiel. They right back to cutting heads. It's like, boy, dang. They did, but Isaiah talk about how the lion and the lamb lay down together. It's world peace. Isaiah talk about it. Hosea talk about it in Hosea the 2nd chapter. Is a covenant of peace between man and beast. He did the weapons of war destroyed out the earth. So how you gonna be killing and sacrificing and doing all that anyway? You did. Watch this right here. Let's go show the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles real quick. So again, another document that a lot of people are scared of. You know, you get to mention some of this stuff to certain cats. They're like, oh, no, I only read over this way. You know? Okay, that's right. Stay over there in the shallow, boy, with your floaties on. We ain't mad at you. We ain't mad at you. All praise to the Almighty, though. You feel me? Create a gang, no. All right, let's go into this. Where is it at? Phone jumping. Y'all want. There we go. Here's Nazarene Acts of the Apostles. Unless you call Lost Writings of Peter, page 39. I can't zoom in either. Y'all tripping, bro. Dang. Ain't letting me zoom in. Do a single scroll. Hold on, y'all. There we go. All right, so this is some teachings that Peter, was teaching that he claims he got from Messiah himself. All right. So you got your Acts in the Bible. This is the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, right? And it's called the allowance of Zebah or Zabak for a time. The Zabak or the Zebah is the Hebrew word for sacrifice. All right. Now, but we're going to read it carefully because watch what's said. Well, meantime, Moshe, that faithful and wise steward, proceeded at the vice of sacrificing to idols. The vice of it, of sacrificing to idols, had been deeply ingrained into the people from their association with the Egyptians, and that the root of this evil could not be extracted from them. He allowed them sacrificing. Who allowed it? Moses. He allowed them sacrificing, but permitted it to be done only to Yahuwah, that by any means he might cut off one half of the deeply ingrained, what y'all? Evil. Moses allowed it, but he was like, well, look, the vice of sacrificing been so deeply ingrained in them. That they're gonna have to be weaned off this sacrificing. So no sacrificing to idols, only sacrifice to the Almighty. But know what he called it, that by any means he might cut off one half of the deeply ingrained evil. So he's admitting that sacrificing and spilling blood is evil. Look at it. Leaving the other half to be corrected by another at a future time. By him, namely, concerning whom he said, a prophet will the Almighty raise unto you, whom you will hear, even as myself, according to all things that he will say to you. Whosoever will not hear that Nabi, his spirit will be cut off from his people. The set apart place or the temple. Notice he called sacrificing a vice. He called it a deeply ingrained evil that it had to be corrected at a future time. But notice it ain't nothing that the Almighty gave. Man gave it. Well, what man? Moses. Moses the one gave it. Moses. Huh? Okay. Let's go to the set apart place of the temple. Look what it says. In addition to these things, he also appointed a place in which alone it should be lawful to them to sacrifice to Yahuwah. And all this was arranged with this view that when the fitting time should come and they should learn by means of Yeshua that the Almighty desires mercy and not sacrifice. Mercy and not sacrifice. And they might see him who should teach them that the place chosen of the Almighty in which it was suitable, that victims should be offered. Notice it calls the offerings victims. that victims should be offered to Yahuwah in his wisdom, and that on the other hand, they might hear that this place, which seemed chosen for a time, talking about Jerusalem, often harassed as it had been by hostile invasions and plunderings, was at last to be wholly destroyed. And in order to impress this upon them, even before the coming of Yahshua, who was to reject at once the sacrifices and the place, the sacrifices and the temple, the place. It was often plundered by enemies and burnt with fire. And the people carried into captivity among foreign tribes. And when brought back, and then brought back when they betook themselves to the mercy of Yahuwah, that by these things they might be taught that a people who offer sacrifices, Zabakim, Zibaim, sacrifices, that a people who offer sacrifices are driven away, and delivered up into the hands of the enemy. But they who do mercy and righteousness are without sacrificing, freed from captivity and restored to their native land. But it fell out that very few understood this, for the greater number, though they perceived and observed these things, yet were held by the irrational opinion of the vulgar. For the right opinion with freedom, for the right opinion with liberty, is the exclusive right of a few. Good night, boy. Oh, wait, oh, wait, oh, wait. Now, let's look at this. One second. Let me stop this real quick. Dang. We're gonna read these parts in here. Hold on. You say Young Prince? Blood sacrifices of God. But man, nasty work, ain't it, boy? Shalom, Natin Yati Kelly 83. What's going on, my sister? How you be? Love and light to the fam. Somebody love to the fam. Yeah, that's diabolical, right? That's crazy. That's crazy. My brother T Bro in the building. STL stand up. 3-1 flow. It's the word up. Going over these blood sacrifices, man. They get real bloody. So look, I want to show y'all this real quick again. They real short. Then we gonna go and show in Hebrews where they talk about how Jesus fulfills all this. And then we gonna do our thing, all right? So this is the sin offering. Sin offering. One second. Yeah, check this out. Dang. Check this out. What's going on, my brother T Bro in the building? All right. You know what it is over here taking heads. You know how we do it.
Leviticus chapter 4. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, If anyone sins unintentionally in any of the things which the Lord has commanded not to be done, and does any of them, if the anointed priest sins so as to bring guilt on the people, let him offer for his sin which he has sinned a young bull without defect to the Lord for a sin offering. He shall bring the bull to the door of the tent of meeting before the Lord, and he shall lay his hand on the head of the bull and kill the bull before the Lord. The anointed priest shall take some of the blood of the bull and bring it to the tent of meeting. The priest shall dip his finger in the blood and sprinkle some of the blood 7 times before the Lord, before the veil of the sanctuary. The priest shall put some of the blood on the horns of the altar of sweet incense before the Lord, which is in the tent of meeting, And he shall pour out the rest of the blood of the bull at the base of the altar of burnt offering, which is at the door of the tent of meeting. He shall take all the fat of the bull of the sin offering from it, the fat that covers the innards, and all the fat that is on the innards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, which is by the loins, and the cover on the liver, with the kidneys he shall remove, as it is removed from the bull of the sacrifice of peace offerings. The priest shall burn them on the altar of burnt offering. He shall carry the bull's skin, all its meat, with its head, and with its legs, its innards, and its dung, all the rest of the bull.
Man, this is a sin offering, y'all. It's a skinned corpse. It's a chopped off head. It's a dismembered body. It's chopped. It's cut out organs, cut off fat, and bobo dung. Look, he carrying the bobo right here in his hand, right here in the middle. The sin offering. If we're saying Jesus died for our sins, this is what happened for the sin offering, for you to be forgiven. Not just that it died a certain way. There's a certain ritual that had to go down. They would have had to play with Jesus' blood and splash it on the altar. They would have had to cut. They would have had to skin Jesus alive. They would have to skin him. You dig? Then chop his head off. Then chop his lower extremities off. Then drop that blade into his chest cavity and pull down like he unzipping a jacket and get to removing organs. And then when they got all of Jesus' dismembered body, his head, his organs, his legs, and even his bobo, his dung, they got to go do something with all of that in a certain order for an atonement or for forgiveness to happen. Now, how about Yahshua was murdered? They murdered our brother, man. But for you to say he fulfills the law or the law of, any of the laws, including the laws of sacrifice, then this is what they would have had to do to him. This is a sin offering. You saying Jesus died for your sins. This is what they did to the sin offering. They chopped his damn head off, skinned his back, chopped his legs off, cut the organs out, cut the fat off the organs, collect his bobo, his dung, and then go do another ritual over that in order for a sweet smelling savor or atonement or forgiveness to be given thou. So if you're saying Jesus fulfilled the law, how did he fulfill the sin offering? Was his head cut off? Was he skinned? Did they handle his bobo? Look at the priest in the middle right here with this in his hand. That boy got dung. Little dung finger, little boy. Little shitty hand, little boy. That boy got dung in his palm. Now, that priesthood was very, very bloody. Very, very bloody, boy. You see? Shout out to the real Yahshua. Was a great man. You dig? But again, we not stupid either. Trick no good. We not stupid either. We see y'all and how y'all try to take stories and try to make a deity or a god out here. And that's what has happened. But if you slow down, you know what I mean? The whole situation falls apart. Slow down. All right? Watch this.
Outside the camp to a clean place where the ashes are poured out, and burn it on wood with fire. It shall be burnt where the ashes are poured out.
Now you put fire on the boo-boo. Oh, no, bro. Oh, no.
If the whole congregation of Israel sins, and the thing is hidden from the eyes of the assembly, and they have done any of the things which the Lord has commanded not to be done, and are guilty, When the sin in which they have sinned is known, then the assembly shall offer a young bull for a sin offering, and bring it before the tent of meeting. The elders of the congregation shall lay their hands on the head of the bull before the Lord, and the bull shall be killed before the
Look at that. Again, if you're saying that Jesus is the sacrifice, well, you was supposed to be the first to lay your hands on the sacrifice and kill it before the priest got to playing with his blood. But in the story of Jesus being killed, the Romans killed him. They was the ones that got the slaying and stabbing and crucifying. Now, you saying this is your offering to cover your sin, Jesus is, or Yahshua is. Well, you was supposed to have been the first one with your hands on his head to slay him, so then that the priests of Israel could have came and collected his blood and start splashing his blood everywhere. Then they would have had to skin Jesus, chop his head off, chop his legs off, cut his organs out, cut the fat off his organs, collect his boo-boo. Like, what is we doing, man? Like, what is we even really saying here? Like, we got to be real with this, man. You dig? This is off. And this niggas that can't wait for the third temple to be rebuilt, because guess what? Guess what happens when the third temple get rebuilt? They right back to taking heads, spilling blood and playing in dung. Read Ezekiel, the 40th chapter, 40 on in. Get your mind blown.
The Lord. The anointed priest shall bring some of the blood of the bull to the tent of meeting. The priest shall dip his finger in the blood and sprinkle it 7 times before the Lord.
These niggas is playing in blood. These are blood rituals. Blood deities. That's why when you read them prophets like Isaiah and Amos and Hosea and Jeremiah, and they like, look, man, Most High ain't never even commanded none of this. Man, who told y'all to be up in my courts with all this blood on your hands? I don't like the blood of lambs, goats, and bullocks. In Leviticus, he do though. So again, either the deity is bipolar, or you've been listening to the message of 2 different gods the whole time, thinking it's one. Trying to make a square a circle, trying to make an apple an orange, trying to make sense of it. So you dive deep into the apologetics. Out there trying to make an apple an orange. No, they're not the same. They're playing in blood. They're playing in bobo. They're dismembering bodies, skinning flesh, chopping off heads. We just gonna sit back like this shit normal? We just gonna sit back like, oh, yawn. Man, look how desensitized we've become. And y'all, this stuff was going on non-stop for the most part. For a millennium and a half, non-stop. Few pauses in between, but non-stop, man. Man, look, I don't want to hear nothing from none of you mumble mouth misfortunates. They got the nerve to put your mouth over this way and talk bad about what we got going on. Until y'all address the dung sandwich. Until you address the blood splashing. Until you address how it's supposed to be a sweet smelling aroma to the deity. Until you address any of that, look, listen to me. Y'all don't got nothing to say to us. Nothing. I mean, after all, would you rather smell some marijuana smoke or some shit? Yeah, that part. Let's keep going.
Before the veil. He shall put some of the blood on the horns.
Look at your man. He look like he doing a magic trick right there, son. He look like he doing a magic trick right there, B. Hell going on? Hold on. Look at your man. That's your man's. Look at your man's.
of the altar which is before the Lord, that is in the tent of meeting, and the rest of the blood he shall pour out at the base.
Get the hell out of here. Y'all know this is off. Huh? You might as well go ahead and, move to Transylvania. Get on down with Dracula. They're playing in blood and boo-boo. I know, man. I know. Now, it's just the way you say it. Look. If I said it in a whisper, like Ned Flanders, you dig, or roared from the bottom of my belly, the obvious truth. You dig? You're going to find something to be offended at anyway. Now, I might as well just go all out with it. I'm not the type to soften the blow, so I'm cool. But look at that. Nigga got blood dripping off his knuckles. Man, look, bruh.
Of the altar of burnt offering, which is at the door of the tent of meeting. All its fat he shall take from it and burn it on the altar.
Okay.
He shall do this with the bull, as he did with the bull of the sin offering, so he shall do with this. And the priest shall make atonement for them, and they shall be forgiven. He shall carry the bull outside the camp and burn it as he burned the first bull. It is a sin offering for the assembly.
So you got to burn that one as you burned the first bull, which made boo-boo. Boo-boo again. Dung. Nah, man, Messiah didn't come and fulfill something that his father never gave anyway. All you got to do is look at this and be like, man, there ain't no way in the world the creator commanded you niggas to start chopping heads on his creation. Why? You never ask yourself, why? Why the hell does he require so much blood? Dang. Come to find out you niggas put that in there. And that's why Jeremiah, Isaiah, Amos, Hosea, Micah, the Psalms, well, I'm like, man, what in the hell is y'all doing? Who commanded you? Who required you to tread my courts with this? A lot of bloodshed, man. Big dang, Almighty ain't about none of that. You want to get in good standing with your maker, stop doing what you're doing and turn away from what you're doing, meaning repent, and correct your ways. Amend what you're doing. You dig? And you should live. Don't nothing gotta die because you out here, you know what I mean, in full lasciviousness mode. Ain't nothing gotta die because you out here with a white liver, boy. Huh? Nah, you just gonna get to a point in your life where you tired of, being the old fool that doteth. Nigga, 65 years old, talking about he about to go to the strip club and try to find something hot to get on. Nah. And what I'm saying is, why anything gotta die or blood gotta flow because you missed the mark? Nah, you gotta correct yourself. You know what I mean? Get yourself together. Work out your own salvation, right? Get away from all this death, man. Look at it.
When a ruler sins and unwittingly does any one of the things which the Lord his God has commanded not to be done, and is guilty, if his sin in which he has sinned is made known to him, he shall bring as his offering a goat, a male without defect. He shall lay his hand on the head of the goat and kill it in the place where the kill.
So if you're saying that Jesus is the goat, you know what I mean, that died for your sin offering, then you supposed to kill Jesus. Right? Right there at the doorway of the, going into the courtyard of the altar of burnt offering. The priest supposed to collect his blood. They take him off your hands from there. They skin the victim. They dismember the victim. Like all this, man. All this is real. You dig? It get real bloody. It get real bloody and real violent. It get real bloody and real violent. You know what I mean? So if we talking about sin offerings and forgiveness and what's what, you dig? And it being a fulfillment of this, then that means he got to fulfill it, even down to his death, how he died. You dig? And as we read through these, he ain't died nothing like this. He wasn't dismembered. His organs wasn't cut out. His fat wasn't thrown on the altar. They didn't splash his blood and on the horns of the altar. And, you know what I mean? He died outside the camp. You dig? But I mean, they ain't chop him up, dismember him, and take his dung. And come on, man. You got to stop playing. Shout out to my brother Max Lowe's. Yeah, you right. That Psalms 50, same thing, huh? Watch this.
The burnt offering before the Lord. It is a sin offering. The priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering with his finger and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering. He shall pour out the rest of its blood at the base of the altar of burnt offering. All its fat he shall burn on the altar, like the fat of the sacrifice of peace offering.
See, all this is supposed to be happening with Jesus. Jesus is fulfilling the sin offerings and the burnt offerings. It's something supposed to happen with his organs, his fat, his legs, his head, his blood. You dig?
And the priest shall make atonement for him concerning his sin, and he will be forgiven.
See, forgiveness of sin.
If any one of the common people sins unwittingly in doing any of the things.
So now it's dealing with the common man. Because everybody ain't a king or a queen or a priest or an elder or a ruler. Now we're dealing with the common man, right? And your sin offering is a lamb. Your sin offering is a lamb. Jesus is the lamb, right? Which take away the sins of the world. But what gender is the lamb sin offering? Watch this.
Which the Lord has commanded not to be done, and is guilty, if his sin in which he has sinned is made known to him, then he shall bring for his offering a goat, a female without defect.
Hold on. A female. A female.
The sin which he has sinned. He shall lay his hand on the head of the sin offering and kill the sin offering in the place of the burnt offering. The priest shall take some of the blood with his finger and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and the rest of its blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar.
With blood
all
again.
its fat he shall take away, like the fat is taken away from the sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall burn it on the altar for a pleasant aroma to the Lord.
That's supposed to smell good to the Lord. But over in Isaiah, the Lord say what? He delight not in the blood of lambs, bullocks, and goats, and the fat of fed beasts. He don't like it. But over in Leviticus, he do like it. So once again, either the God is bipolar or you've been listening to two different gods the whole time and been trying to make sense of it. Trying to make sense of it.
And the priest shall make atonement for him, and he will be forgiven. If he brings a lamb as his offering for a sin offering.
Hold on, if he brings a lamb as his offering, because Jesus is called the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sins of the world. John 1:36. Behold the Lamb of God, John 1:29. 1 Corinthians 5:5. Behold, Christ our Passover is sacrificed for us. Well, the lamb sin offering is what? Is what kind of gender?
Offering, he shall bring a female without defect.
A female without defect. But Jesus wasn't no Yahshua Messiah, wasn't no female. He's called the Lamb of God that takes away the sins of the world. He wasn't a female. Okay, go ahead.
He shall lay his hand on the head of the sin offering.
Whoever is saying he died for your sins, well, this lamb died for this man's sins right here. Whoever's saying that Jesus died for your sins, that means you offered Jesus as an offering, and you were the first one to put your hands on his head and slit his throat, so the priest can collect his blood and start, skinning his body and splashing blood and cutting out organs. See, in other words, the person whose sins was to be covered or forgiven had to be the one to kill the offering, had to be the one to kill the sacrifice. Jesus got nailed to a cross by Romans and killed by Romans. You see? His body wasn't chopped up and dismembered by the priest either. Romans killed him. You see? Oh, wait.
And kill it for a sin offering in the place where they kill the burnt offering. The priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering with his finger and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering.
Blood just dripping from the fingernails. Blood just dripping from the cuticles. Nigga will make you think this is holy, man. Come on, bro. Like, can we stop, please?
All the rest of its blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar. He shall remove all its fat, like the fat of the lamb is removed from the sacrifice of peace offerings. The priest shall burn them on the altar,
See, all that get burnt on. So this was supposed to happen to Jesus. He's the lamb, but the sin offering that's a lamb is a female, right? And then guess what? The female lamb got to get carved up. Head got to get chopped off. Legs got to get removed. Fat got to get cut off organs. And that dismembered situ sucker go on that barbecue pit, that altar of burnt offering, and get roasted.
Offerings of the Lord made by fire. The priest shall make atonement for him concerning his sin which he has sinned, and he will be forgiven.
Oh wait, man. That's nasty work right there. Hey, what's really going on? What's really going on, Malachi?
The peace offerings. The peace of the burnt offering. The Lord called to Moses and spoke to him from the tent of meeting. He said, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, when anyone among you brings an offering to the Lord, bring as your offering an animal from either the herd or the flock. If the offering is a burnt offering from the herd, you are to offer a male without defect. You must present it at the entrance to the tent of meeting, so that it will be acceptable to the Lord. You are to lay your hand on the head of the burnt offering, and it will be accepted on your behalf to make atonement for you. You are to slaughter the young bull before the Lord, and then Aaron's sons, the priest, shall bring the blood and splash it against the sides of the altar at the entrance to the tent of meeting. You are to skin the burnt offering and cut it into pieces. The sons of Aaron the priest are to put fire on the altar and arrange wood on the fire. Then Aaron's sons, the priest, shall arrange the pieces, including the head and the fat, on the wood that is
including the head. So you're saying that, the deity, you dig, delights in chopped off heads. Did you know that about the character who you calling the Lord? He want chopped off. He want chopped off heads. And look, the altar burnt offering stayed burning around the clock. He want his blood. He want his fat. He want his chopped off head. He want his organs. And he want that blood splashed a certain way, Jack. Yeah. Yeah. And how many of you know that that's the character of the one you've been calling the Lord? He want his blood. And even if you're saying, well, we don't do that no more because Jesus died, but you would have to say there's a time when this was accepted by the God. He actually liked it. Said it smelled great. Actually commanded it. Either the deity is bipolar or you've been listening to the message of two different gods this whole time and ain't been able to make sense of it.
Burning on the altar. You are to wash the internal organs and the legs with water, and the priest is to burn all of it on the altar. It is a burnt offering, a food offering, an aroma pleasing to the Lord. If the offering is a burnt offering from the flock, from either the sheep or the goats, you are to offer a male without defect. You are to slaughter it at the north side of the altar before the Lord, and Aaron's sons, the priests, shall splash its blood against the sides of the altar. You are to cut it into pieces. The priest shall...
Good night, boy. Or your priests, who you calling holy, Levites, they were your ancient butchers. Blood everywhere. Heads rolling everywhere.
Arrange them, including the head and the fat, on the wood that is burning on the altar. You are to wash the internal organs and the legs with water, and the priest is to bring all of them and burn them on the altar. It is a burnt offering, a food offering, an aroma pleasing to the Lord.
Really?
If the offering to the Lord is a burnt offering of birds, you are to offer a dove or a young pigeon. The priest shall bring it to the altar, wring off the head.
Wring off the head. Huh? That means twist the head off that pigeon or that turtle dove, man. Nigga, turn his head to it pop. Dang, son, that's a cold game.
Head and burn it on the altar. Its blood shall be drained out on the side of the altar. He is to remove the crop and the feathers and throw them down east of the altar where the ashes are. He shall tear it open by the wings, not dividing it completely, and then the priest shall burn it on the wood that is burning on the altar. It is a burnt offering, a food offering, an aroma pleasing to the Lord.
An aroma pleasing to the Lord. Dang, son. Dang, B. Dang, son. All right, let's run over here real quick. We got two more spots and two more stops, and we about here. You feel me? Look at this right here. We're aiming at verse 2, but this is Ephesians 5, 1 and 2. Be ye therefore followers of God as dear children, and walk in love as Christ also hath loved us and hath given himself for us an offering and a sacrifice to God for a sweet smelling savor. And so this is where one of the spots Christianity gets that Jesus is God's sacrifice. You know what I mean? And you know the sweet smelling savor, that sweet pleasing aroma was about burnt offerings and sin offerings, which has to do with the removal of heads, chopped off legs, organs. I mean, y'all already know. In some cases, dung. You dig? So look, that's one of the spots, and then let's go over to this Hebrews. Hebrews, let's start in 9. Show y'all something, man. Old and the new. Yeah, 9 and 22. And almost all things are by the law purged with blood, and without shedding of blood is no remission. That ain't what we read today. That's not what we read today. You know what I mean? That is not what we read today at all. Look at this. It was therefore necessary that the patterns of things in the heavens should be purified with these, but the heavenly things themselves were better sacrifices than these. So better sacrifices than the blood of bulls and goats and all that, right? Now watch this. For Christ is not entered into the holy places. So he never went into the actual temple. Right? We were talking about how he had to sprinkle the blood before the mercy seat and all that, the high priest, on the Day of Atonement. They're saying Christ is not entered into the holy places made with hands, which are figures of the true, but into heaven itself, now to appear in the presence of God for us. Or the writer of Hebrews is saying that Christ didn't play out or didn't fulfill the role of an offering and all that according to Leviticus, according to the Torah. It's saying he didn't go into the actual temple before the Ark of the Covenant and sprinkled his blood 7 times. Or he didn't get his head chopped off and blood collected and splashed on the altar of burnt offering outside. You see, well, if that never happened, then he can't fulfill that. That's the point. Like he fulfilled the law. What, the law of sacrifice? The sacrifices got to get killed a certain way. You know what I mean? In a certain geographical location. His blood got to get played with, collected. His dung got to get, it's a lot. The corpse got to get chopped up. The organs got to come out. It's a lot to go with that. He did. But to say he fulfilled the law of sacrificing when we read about the burnt offering, the sin offering, the trespass offering, and that ain't how he died at all. At all. In some cases, it's a female. He ain't a female. Some cases they gotta go take his dung and burn it. They didn't do that. His blood was never collected. You know what I mean? It wasn't splashed on the altar of burnt offering. His head wasn't cut off. So if you're saying the patterns of these things in the heavens should be purified with these, but the heavenly things themselves were better sacrifices than these. For Christ is not entered into the holy places made with hands. So he ain't going to the temple to do none of those things we read in Leviticus. Then he goes on to say, which are the figures or a shadow or representation of the true, but into heaven itself, now to appear in the presence of God for us, nor yet that he should offer himself often. As the high priest entered into the holy place every year with blood of others. Well, all right, well, that means he ain't doing what the priest and them was doing. Look at this. For then must he often have suffered since the foundation of the world. But now, once in the end of the world, have appeared to put away sin by, look at this, y'all, the sacrifice of himself. These are the spots where you get that Jesus is the sacrifice. You feel me? To put away sin by the sacrifice of himself. So you're saying he's a sin offering. We just looked at what has to happen to a sin offering. Did that happen to Jesus? No, it didn't. No, it didn't. You feel me? Paul, like this, he the sacrifice. He the lamb. You see? But in order for him to fulfill that, then he would have to complete that himself. You did. But what we reading is that the Almighty never gave. The Almighty never gave the sacrifices and burnt offerings in the first place. He never gave it in the first place. Look at this. So how is he the sacrifice or fulfillment of these sacrifices when it was never given by his Father anyway? Well, that means it was given by a false god, y'all. This right. And then I got it in a different version too, the Peshitta. We're gonna pull that up next. But look at this. Thus saith the Lord of hosts. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel. Put your burnt offerings into your sacrifices and eat flesh. For I spake not unto your fathers, nor commanded them in the day that I brought them out of the land of Egypt, concerning burnt offerings or sacrifices. The burnt offerings, sacrifices were never commanded. And he up here saying, put your burnt offerings into your sacrifice and eat flesh. The burnt offerings are wholly consumed. Don't nobody eat that. So that's sarcasm. It's like y'all eating something that was never commanded. I never commanded your forefathers when I brought them out of Egypt concerning burnt offerings or sacrifices. So if it wasn't commanded, then who gave it to you? But this thing commanded I them, saying, obey my voice, and I will be your God, and ye shall be my people. And walk ye in all the ways that I have commanded you, that it may be well with you. You see? So he's saying, do what I commanded. I didn't command that. Do what I commanded you to do. But they hearkened not, nor inclined their ear, but walked in the counsels and the imagination of their evil heart, which would include that sacrifice, and went backward and not forward. You see that? See that? Ooh wee. Let me pull this up in the I got a Cheeto version real quick. Hold on, let me pull this up. What'd you say, boy? That stuff stank, don't it, boy? Now watch how I read in this different version I got. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, I don't like that. Let me pull this up real quick and show y'all something. Yeah, right here, bang. What you think is a game? What you think we playing? You think we playing, bruh? They be thinking we be playing. Say, y'all think the kid playing? Let me see something real quick. Dang. Peshitta Bible, Jeremiah 7, 21 through 23. 2nd century Common Era. Let me go ahead and share the screen real quick. Make sure we sharing. Okay, now we not. What you think is a game? What you think we playing? Hold on. Got you. Hold on. Easy money, man. Easy money. Come on, man. Yeah. Share your screen, player. Entire screen. Bang. Now watch how this Jeremiah 7:21-23 read out the Peshitta Bible. What is the Peshitta Bible, Malachi? Dang. So y'all see that Jeremiah 7 up there? Ah, dang. I had it real close. Dang. I just feel ain't letting me zone in. That pissing me off. Okay. There we go. So as y'all see up here, Jeremiah 7 is in the Peshitta Bible. Look at this verse 21 down there. 21 and 22. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, add your burnt offerings to your sacrifices, and eat meat which I did not command your fathers to eat. And eat meat which I did not command your fathers to eat. And eat meat which I did not command your fathers to eat. Neither did I command them concerning either burnt offerings or sacrifices in the day when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. Y'all see that? See that? That you got all burnt offerings and sacrifices all through that deal. You see? So you just got to know how to properly navigate, man, and get through it. And get through it. Beautiful thing is you already got the victory. You know what I mean? We can do it. You just gotta have the fortitude to get up and get it cracking, man. Stop playing with it. And then y'all drop some voices in the chat if y'all got some understanding, man. CGG still cooking. Shout out to my brothers, man. The Four Horsemen in the building. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, share. Y'all going over there to my brother Eli Shalom TV. The brother had a presentation on Sodnet. Cleared the block. You hear me? Cleared the block. Oh, dang. So we ain't nothing to say after all that. You feel me? Y'all over there to my brother Cosmine Cal TV. Y'all like, subscribe, share. He stayed in the gauntlet taking heads. Shout out to my brother Daryl Cosmine putting a few things together. Same here with me. I got something that we about to hurt some feelings on. You know what I mean? There's something we're working on right here. No way. Somebody gonna be mad. Remember I told y'all that? Somebody gonna be mad, man. Dang. Mally Gang, man. Roman and Greek influence of the New Testament. That's what I'm working on now. That'll be ready for a couple days. Oh, when I tell y'all, my boy, there's some blood in the water. That's your boy Philo right there. Oh, my God, man. Let's see, I find out about this, though. Well, you know, gang always cook. Always cook. Any of you cats can get it. Easy money. Yeah, going to all that. Logos, all the niggas finna hurt. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna be out too much, but yeah, man. You know, we always working on presentations. You know, ways to deconstruct the bondage that's in your mind. Believe that. Yeah. Shout out to the CGG. Also, y'all already know. We got another book coming out too, based off that presentation right there. Yeah, you're gonna put a lot of information out there for the people so they know how to look at this thing, and they can talk it without us even being there. All right, it's a book I published earlier this year, Darkness and Determination: A Practical Guide on Conquering Depression and Trauma, by your little brother Malaki Macabee. Interested in that deal? Check the description box. Purchase links is in that deal for sure. And other than that, man, just letting everybody know we still cooking, ain't never gonna stop. You know what I mean? A lot of goof trooping going on, but it's easy money. Easy money. I'm glad everybody got some understanding. I'm about to get off here and put my feet to the streets. What's this? You say see right now? Oh snap! I can create a cover using AI. I don't know. Gentle 7, Shalom, Malaki Macabee, Shalom, Shalom. Where it go? Yeah. Put the book out. You know, so we stay productive around this deal of taste. Yeah, man. I can create a cover using AI. Yeah, you know that. Shout out to my Aki Abdiel. ASN in the building, stand up, baby. Yeah. That's the word out. How you feeling? It's all good, family. But look, I'm about to get up out of here, man. All praise to the ever-present, everywhere creator, like my little bro say. Always was, is, and ever shall be, the mighty and great spirit, the mighty and great I am, whose magnitude is incomprehensible and whose presence is everywhere. Is all powerful, all knowledge, filleth all space and place, and yet unseen. Shout out to all the real brothers and sisters that came before us, all the daughters and sons that the creator, sons and daughters alike. Through hell or high water, decided to bring the light out anyway, no matter who got mad about it. And we continue to carry the proverbial torch. On the same path. We ain't caring nothing about what nobody got to say. You got a problem with it, wolf. You know what I mean? Either do a presentation on it, or debate it, or hot seat it, or pass it or pop it, man. I don't know what else to tell you. Feel me? So number love and light from over this way. Stop all that bloodshed, all that killing, all that blood talk. You're drinking blood, you're eating flesh, you're into the burnt offerings and the sin offerings. And look, man, all the credit is saying you want to be in good standing with me, turn away from what you're doing and correct your ways. Nothing has to die. The blood of no man, no beast, no animal can ever take away sin. It's just going to add more to it. It's going to crucify the nation. Right? That was today's class. You feel me? So all praises, all glory, all honor. You dig? To the Almighty Creator. It always was, is, and never shall be. It's your little brother. Your little brother. Malaki Macabee, megaton light bomb. 1,000,000 tons of light on it. We about this here, y'all. Love and light.